Babylon, why your breathless? Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. So show love and fearless. Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. Babylon, why your breathless? Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. So show love and fearless. Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. Them one we just waiting to exhale from slavery. Plenty hostility to make the vibes be hazy. To turn the earth into an atmosphere to fear the hemisphere Babylon, the city of adversity. Complex of complexity to make man uneasy. And still continue sequels of unequal daily. Try to make shatter breath mystery so we don't breathe deeply. To have our society full of anxiety. Babylon, why your breathless? Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. So show love and fearless. Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. Babylon, why your breathless? Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. So show love and fearless. Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. Once we up in puffing with anger and raging, and running out of breath, upset, hyperventilating. Some big gasping for air cause of the press of blood pressure. And those in sufferation feel like they're suffocating. From economical segregation, strangulation, and all of the false teaching them were in circulation. Situation be causing people heart palpitation. Snake toxic to nature and the nation. Babylon, why your breathless? Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. So show love and fearless. Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. Babylon, why your breathless? Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. So show love and fearless. Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. Try put to rest the respiratory system. You need from brutality, bronchitis, them victim. Them want exit your oxygen from out of existence. Fixated and fantasize about man asphyxiation. Them want asthma, they breath of life just like an infection. And got the air polluted with them wicked intention. Try to panic attack we with trial tribulation. They toxic to nature and the nation. Babylon, why your breathless? Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. So show love and fearless. Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. Babylon, why your breathless? Breathe in strength, breathe out stress. So show love and fearless. Breathe in strength, breathe out stress.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Welcome to Friday Night Live, Mishpachah. Welcome to Friday Night Live.
Hallelujah. Shalom, Mishpachah. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's get a little bit more. Hallelujah. Well, greetings, family, once again, and welcome to another Friday Night Live. We got a good one for you tonight. Good one tonight. Very interesting. You will never believe it. But I'm looking at the numbers. I don't know what's going on. Israelites are coming in really, really slow. What is happening? What is happening? We might have to start changing up the format.
Yeah.
What do you think we should do? Talk about somebody? Who should we talk about?
I think, let me see.
What kind of a gossip? What type of gossip do you think we should talk about, Mishpachah?
Let me see who's in the chat.
What type of, well, those who are usually on time, Diddy. Okay, so we could probably talk about Diddy.
Yeah.
And all about Torah. And his selection of olive oil and different types of oils. And I'm sure a lot of Israelites will show up right on time, early. Early with the popcorn, right? Mm-hmm. Anyway, greetings, family worldwide, and welcome back to another Friday Night Live. I hope and pray everybody's doing well and excellent health as we are here to continue burning the lights bright for the kingdom's sake. And I don't know why Elder is ready to fly. Elder? Yeah. You can sit down for 2 seconds, Elder. Unless you want to stay like that, that's fine.
We're still waiting to board the plane. You're ready to take off.
Ella skipped everything. He's right in the front. As a matter of fact, the captain haven't even boarded the plane yet, and Ella's already in the captain's seat. Well. Yes, family, welcome back again. Families down in the Caribbean, shalom. Over in South and Central America, shalom to each and all. Our Mishpachah right here in these strange states of America. Shalom to you all across the border in Canada, in the UK, in Africa, Europe, the Middle East, the Far East, and every island of the sea. We greet you all by saying shalom, happy Friday Night Live. I hope everyone is doing well. And I don't know if some of y'all were conned into saying Happy New Year, but I know how it goes already. All right, I know how it goes. So, without further ado, let me get Elder to come on in and offer tefillah so that he can get some relief. Right, Elder?
All praises to the Most High.
All praises, all praises.
It is a good thing to give you thanks always, Heavenly Father. Through your Son, Yahushua, we thank you for sparing our lives throughout the hours of the day, your blessing, your protection, your guidance, your watching over us and the family. Father, as we gather together to hear your words, the teaching tonight from our teacher and our reader, we pray, Father, that thou may give us one heart, one mind, one accord, that we all will be ready to receive the blessing tonight. We send to you our teacher, Brother Yonah, that thou may speak to him, through him, and for him. And Brother O'Shea, as he read along with him, that the two of them join together to bring the teaching tonight. Father, bless them, fill them with all good things, power from on high, that we all will enjoy your words tonight, because we ask it all. Through your Son, Yahushua, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah. Thank you so much, Elder.
Hallelujah. All praises. Welcome.
Well, family, how did you enjoy last Friday night's broadcast? Let's start with that. How was last Friday night's broadcast? Did you learn anything? Yeah? All right. Numbers are very... I think people don't want to... I think they're probably tired. Maybe they were out reveling on all the things that we forget and the things that we regret. How's the song go again?
I deleted that song a long time ago. I even forgot it was New Year's, according to the heathen.
Mm-hmm. Champagne all over the place. You know, maybe that's what our Mishpachah wants to talk about. But we are here to talk about some very strange things, and we got a good one tonight. Hopefully, it'll be even more interesting. All right. And so we have been spending a little time to share with you all the strange things that are occurring behind closed doors around the world, and to see the people who are orchestrating change within this universe. And it's not just here in America, it is global. I think many of y'all remember the heathen called Jeffrey Epstein, right? Mm-hmm. And when they shook the tree, all types of characters fell out of it. You had the UK, all the way to the throne. There are pictures of him and the Pope, pictures of all types of people. Now, I'm not speaking about the current one, the former Pope, right? Mm-hmm. All types of characters.
It was like a spider web. It connected every post, every region back to that one individual.
I mean, just so the Arabs, prime ministers from different countries,
Hollywood,
communists, Hollywood, I mean, you'd be surprised. Tech, money. You know, I didn't see China in there, though. I didn't see China. I didn't see Putin. So that's kind of interesting. But just a lot of strange characters fell out of that. And what that really shows is like that guy, allegedly, and let me use a disclaimer. The information that we have put together, have been putting together, we're going to use the term allegedly.
Allegedly.
Okay, allegedly. Now, the sources is on the internet. You can get it from Wikipedia, from news sites, from YouTube, who, you know, a lot of people have put news information on YouTube. So that's where our sources are from. So allegedly is kind of loose. You know what I mean? We're getting our stuff from those sources to put those things out from the horse's mouth. And so when we look into the Epstein situation, we notice that there's a connection to Israel, okay, or the Israelis. I don't even like to use the word Israel because that is a clean word. Israelis is something made up, okay? So the government over there, or people, actors behind the scenes, and every time you dig something up, you find more connections. Nevertheless, so we can see there's some stuff happening there. Like that is the heart of the spider. And then the web spreads out all around the world.
Yeah, I'm even here reading too about him going to China and stuff, and China's in there with Russia too, and with Clinton. So it's all over the world.
And that's kind of strange. How can a guy just rise up from nowhere? And you know, the lawyers, the people involved, they said they call it PDFs, pedos, or whatever names that they use, because everybody wants to make that YouTube money. Okay, everybody wants to make a lot of money on the tube. And so they will, use certain phrases and stuff to kind of get around it so they can have that money coming in. But what we need is a truth. And so this guy is pivotal. He is part of that whole system that's connected worldwide. So, you know, you may be in a certain country saying, I have nothing to do with me. Yep. They have a lot to do with you. You'd be surprised. Be surprised. Yeah. So let's get right into it. Overlords Part 2. Okay. Let's read Jeremiah chapter 10 and verses 2.
The book of Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 2. Thus saith Yahuwah, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them.
This is the word of Yahuwah Elohim unto Jeremiah. Now, what we're going to do first is we're going to set things up to show you how a lot of the heathen practices are kind of mingled into what we're talking about tonight. You'll see what I'm talking about. And there's a spiritual component. When I mean spiritual, I'm not speaking about righteous, diabolical spirit, okay? Diabolical spirit. Let's get the next. Is yoga connected to the signs of heaven? You might be asking, brother, why are you showing this? Well, you'll see. Is yoga connected to the signs of heaven? Because we just read Jeremiah says, go back again. Learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the heathen are dismayed at them.
That's right.
So let's go forward now. Read that for us, brother.
Yes, yoga is deeply connected to the signs of heaven.
See that word? Deeply connected. Deeply connected to the signs of heaven. Read.
Through its spiritual aim of connecting the individual, earth, with the divine or universal consciousness, heaven, using pose, breath work, and meditation to achieve inner peace, enlightenment, and oneness, often symbolized by concepts like the dance of heaven and earth, or finding divinity within. Practices like Kundalini, awakening inner energy, while philosophies like Chopra's seven spiritual laws link yoga to universal principles for healing and spiritual growth.
So the Google AI came out and says, yeah, there is definitely a connection to the signs of heaven. Now let's see how this connects with tonight's topic. So I put a question, way of the chosen. Take a look at the screen. Take a look at the screen for a moment. So what do you see? You see a lot of the Ashkenazim-ish peoples involved in the yoga business. Remember, this is a spiritual thing, right?
Yep.
The Bible says to learn not the ways of the heathen. So let us look at the Jubas people. Let's pull that to the side a moment and click on that link. Let us take a look at the Jubas people. And let us learn a few things tonight. I tell you, some stuff you just can't make it up. Okay, some stuff you just cannot make it up. So, this is the Hamilton Jewish News, the voice of Jewish Hamilton. The Judaizing of Yoga Practice by Wendy Schneider. This is May 10th of 2004. All right, scroll down a little bit. Let's read the first part. During
the latter part of the 20th century, up until present times, thousands of Western spiritual seekers have been looking to Eastern religions.
All right, Eastern religions, go ahead.
And disciplines to satisfy their thirst for an accessible and more gratifying form of spirituality.
Read on. Among
them is a disproportionately large number of Jews, many of whom are among the most renowned leaders in American Buddhism, meditation, and yoga centers throughout the West.
All right, let's skip down just a little bit. Let's go down to, keep going down right here. And
many
were drawn.
Many were drawn to meditation practice.
It's talking about people in the synagogues, right?
Commenting on this phenomenon, Alan Liu, founder of Makor, or a Jewish meditation.
Makor, or the word or means light. A Jewish meditation center in San Francisco has said, quote,
meditation meditation in all its form was a popular choice. Buddhist meditation, Hindu meditation, transcendental meditation, awareness meditation, trance meditation, meditation on breath.
A lot of meditation, right?
on mantras, on mandalas, on guided imagery. All of these were founded by a generation of Jewish seekers.
All right, Jewish seekers, that's all we need. Scroll down to the next one. Many of the last century's wandering Jews may have been astonished to learn that Jewish history is rife with examples of movements. Go ahead.
That took a more spiritual and mystical approach to Judaism.
A mystical approach to Judaism. Read.
Including among them is Kabbalah.
Slow down. Including among them is Kabbalah,
a Jewish mystical movement dating back to the 13th century. The Hasidim, a movement founded in early 18th century Russia.
Go ahead.
And a Musar founded in 19th century Lithuania. And the modern movement for Jewish renewal.
So they are connecting this whole Buddhist yoga practice and showing you how it is in this type of, with these people, right? Who is supposed to be the light among the Jewish people. The Hasidic and different sects, right? Let's go down to where it says much has changed.
All right. Much has changed since the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
All right. That's all we need.
Okay.
That's all we need from that. So let's go to the next article. Let's close that out. Let's go to the next article. I just wanted to kind of set things up a little bit. Okay? So you can see something isn't kosher about this nonsense. So this says the Jewish yoga course through the 12 mystical Hebrew months. A course. All right. And keep going down. And you can see the yoga lights, right? Keep going down, and you see this lady here doing her yoga. This is a Jewish lady doing her yoga. She got the bowls, sounding bowls,
candles, the rocks,
all placed in a certain way, right?
crystals.
Crystals. Keep going. Look at that. See the
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
see the people in a circle. Okay.
And this right here.
This course and collective is designed for.
Make it bigger.
Sure, go ahead. We're just going to highlight a few things here, and then we're going to play a video.
This course and collective is designed for anyone seeking to deepen their yoga practice, both for leadership, teaching, and for personal self-mastery through the lens of the mystical Hebrew calendar.
I didn't know we had a mystical Hebrew calendar.
Hey.
Ima, have you heard about that? We had a mystical Hebrew calendar? Scroll down. Look at the people doing yoga, right? Okay. Look at that. The course. Basically showing you all the things. Just keep going so everyone can see. Meditation under the olive tree.
In the sun.
Look at all of that. See, the olive trees are all around, and that's Jerusalem. Yoga, Jewish yoga in the Jerusalem forest. Can you imagine the place where our Messiah walked? The patriarchs walked.
I want to read something when you finish.
Holy ground, right?
Yeah.
Places where our people walked. Olive trees are everywhere. And you got these people. I'm trying to find the right word. These people. Right?
Yeah.
Stretching with their backsides up in the air in all types of prostrating in different ways. You want to say something?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
let me bring something out real quick.
It's just amazing.
All right, let's go to the book of 1 Kings. Actually, sorry, 2 Kings, Mishpachah. 2 Kings. And we're going to go to chapter 17, 2 Kings 17. This is the fall of Israel. And because you're showing that where they're doing all kinds of crazy stuff in the forest of Jerusalem, I want to read from verses 9 down to verses 12. It reads, "And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against Yahuwah their Elohim, and they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced cities. And they set them up images and groves in every hill under every green tree. And they burnt incense in all the high places, as did the heathen whom Yahuwah carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke Yahuwah to anger."
So this is saying that the Canaanites were practicing these types of things.
Yes.
And the Most High instructed Israel to remove those people, destroy them, break down the things, and so forth, right? So Sister Angie says, where does it say to do this in the Bible? Have you ever read in the scriptures, and Jeremiah rolled out his little mat and lifted not even Jeremiah, Elijah lifted up his
We can go back more.
his right leg up to heaven.
We can go back more, Rebbe.
Now, if you, 1 second, go scroll up just a little bit. I want y'all to see this picture. The position that this woman is in reminds me of her sundial.
Yes, it deals with the sun.
A sundial. You know a sundial, right?
Yeah.
Dealing with degrees.
Should I pull up a picture of the sundial?
Yeah, you can pull it up.
I think it goes back to, they're going to say, Sarah pulled out a little mat, and she was stretching in the...
No, put it on one word right there.
And she was stretching in the tent.
See the sundial? That one
right here.
This one is good. Yeah. See the sundial? You can pull that to the side. the tab. Yeah. And then, yeah. So you can see the position. Y'all see it? They don't do that at night.
No, only in the day,
Everybody can see that.
because it ties back to sun worship.
Okay. All right, you can close that out. Let's go back to that and scroll down so we can see. All right. And then you got vows, and they're making vows. Y'all see that? All for richness, awareness, and so forth. So you can close that out. Let's pull up the video.
All right.
So you can see that spiritually speaking, something isn't right. Is this the way of the chosen? And the Most High, when he chose Israel, he said to go into these things, because when you see a person on the everyday level, you really don't know what they believe until you dig into it, till you start to have a conversation with them. They may talk for about the first 5-10 minutes and make it sound like we all on the same page. And if you leave too early, you'll think it's a brotherhood. You might think it's a brotherhood. We all are God's chosen people. Everything sounds good. But give them a few more minutes and they will spill the beans.
I think that's why you have to shoot out little sparks to see, like bait. You have to bait them to see if they're going to say certain things to throw off those red flags.
So let's watch this video, fair use. And this should be very enlightening.
A surprising number of Buddhists in the West are Jewish. They even have a name, Jubus. Here's a staggering statistic. Roughly a quarter of non-Asian American Buddhists in the US are Jews. That's a lot of Jewish Buddhists. So what is it about Buddhism? From beat poets to spiritual seekers to world-renowned musicians, why are so many Jews drawn to Buddhism? Let me tell you a story. After the Holocaust, Judaism in America had one mission: rebuild. Synagogues, day schools, country clubs, summer camps, seminaries. Jewish life in the 20th century rose up from the ashes of the Shoah and flourished, at least on the surface. But beneath it, something else was happening. For a lot of young Jews coming of age in the 50s and 60s, synagogue life, the sermons, the prayers, the rote repetition, it all felt cold, stiff, uninspired. Meanwhile, not far away from the local synagogue, the counterculture was in full swing. There was rock music, LSD, March on Washington, Woodstock, the Beatles in India. And amidst all this, people were asking really deep questions about the soul, about the universe. Looking for answers, young people in the West were heading east. And among them was a surprising number of young Jews. And what many found was Buddhism. A practice that, at face value, appeared as the antithesis of the Judaism back home. Gone were the stuffy pews, the bad suits, the boring sermons, the repetitive cantorial music. In their place was silence, stillness, the sound of breath. No hierarchy, no committees, no synagogue politics.
See the high
just
places?
breath, just being. Buddhism didn't even present itself as a religion, but as a philosophy and a practice, something accessible, immediate, tapped in. There were no membership dues, no theological litmus tests, no requirements to convert. For many Jews, raised on a Judaism of obligations, of prohibitions, of guilt, of do this, don't do that, this was radical. You could walk into a zendo or a meditation center, sit down on a cushion, and participate in something spiritually awake. Again, this was very, very different from the institutional, communal structure of American Judaism at the time. It's no wonder so many Jews were drawn in. Now, to be sure, Jews have a long history of abandoning Judaism for different religious traditions. Only typically, when Jews converted to another faith, it was under duress: convert or die. But this time, Jews weren't abandoning Judaism to save their lives. They were turning to Buddhism to seek something more.
The external view of Judaism is not very spiritual or particularly even...
Stop. So this guy's name is Dov Ber Kohen. You know what a Kohen is? Priest. Right? So do we have any records of our priests becoming Buddhists or things of that nature? Now, we did have Israelite priests that during the time of even Jeremiah and the Maccabees.
That's where I was going, the Maccabees.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's where you see some of the priests went into the way of the heathen, and they got licensed to do it willingly. This is what this is talking about here.
And Ezekiel also. So continue on.
Conscious. I think for me, growing up as an unaffiliated Jew, I saw Judaism as a religion of rituals and trying to appease there seems to be this angry man in the sky.
Stop. So this guy is saying, as a Jew, that whole philosophy or religion was about appeasing some man in the sky.
In the sky, angry man.
Isn't that disrespectful?
That's the same thing the atheist people say. What's that guy? That comedian guy that makes fun of God in the sky. He said the same thing. Angry God in the sky. Angry man in the sky.
Christianity looks at the Old Testament Elohim as an angry guy in the sky. And Jesus is the guy, soft guy, right, with the pale skin, pink cheeks, going around doing good for everybody. Let's play on.
Rabbi Dov Ber Cohen, a scholar and teacher living in Jerusalem. He knows very well why Jews are drawn to Buddhism because he himself was once a practicing Buddhist.
I grew up in a Jewish family, but I never saw Judaism as a path to personal mastery or spirituality. It was a nice ritualistic thing that we did, a traditional culture type thing, but it wasn't an actual path, whereas the Eastern path seemed much more attractive and much more practical and empowering and spiritual.
So
Rabbi
you see what he says, it wasn't a good path. A good path, brethren? Let's play on.
View mirrors the view of a lot of Jews who found inspiration and spiritual value in Buddhism. Sure, Judaism offered culture and tradition, but Buddhism offered a living path that felt vital, empowering, and explicitly spiritual. For many Jewish seekers, Buddhism seemed to provide the tools for inner transformation that Judaism, at least on the surface, appeared to lack. Buddhism says that through meditation and detachment from ego, you can find true meaning and purpose. That peace comes not from the world around you, but from making still the world within you.
So doesn't the scriptures teach us about getting rid of self? Right? So what are they talking about?
Bunch of nonsense.
Play on.
And what do you call a person that advocates or tries to sell or like try to sell something for a company? What do you call a person?
A promoter or?
A promoter, yeah. This guy is actually promoting it. You can see everything he's doing in the background.
Conversations that institutional Judaism just wasn't having. And then, of course, there's Buddhism's view of suffering. Buddhism says that life is defined by suffering, and that the only way to transcend it is to let go of attachment to people, to possessions, even to yourself. Now, it could be that for Jews coming of age in the shadow of the Holocaust, the Buddhist view of suffering held resonance. A philosophy that named suffering as life's central truth and then offered a path to rise above it. A cursory look through Jewish history, and it's no wonder so many Jews found this compelling.
Can I pause and ask you something real quick? They would always tell us we need to let go and stop complaining about the atrocities done to our people in slavery. But this is the only one little incident that they would keep going back to and milk it. It's like there's no more milk coming out of it.
Yeah.
Even today, Jews make up a disproportionate share of American Buddhists, not just as practitioners, but as leaders. From prominent teachers like Jack Kornfield and Sharon Salzberg, to countless therapists and lay leaders who weave Buddhist practice into their daily life. But for some Jubus, Buddhism became a path towards something else. For Rabbi Cohen in particular, his dedication to Buddhism led him to discover a different ancient spiritual practice.
I turned up in Israel and someone said to me, "Why don't you look into Judaism?" And I said, because I don't believe in fear. You have to be afraid, and it seems just like a lot of rules. I can't do this and I can't do this.
Rabbi Cohen found that a lot of the spiritual...
So remember, Satan is always against the rules of Elohim. Christianity has been against the rules of Elohim. It seemed to be like this repeated thing, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Over and over, where people simply don't want to follow any type of guidelines. Just want to be free. Think within yourself.
Yep.
Self, inner light.
Yep.
Play on. You're going to see the relevancy, this connecting to the overlords.
Spirituality he was so drawn to in Buddhism was actually present and native to his own tradition.
Look at that.
And that if he dug below the surface, Judaism could begin to look very different from the one he grew up with. He discovered that the Jewish ritual obligations, which he once saw as rigid rules, were in fact mindfulness practices, designed to bring awareness and intention into even the smallest acts of daily life. Saying a blessing, lighting Shabbat candles, even putting on your shoes the right way, all became opportunities for presence. He also found that meditation, so central to Buddhist practice, wasn't foreign to Judaism at all.
I used to think anyone who does Jewish meditation, they're just making it up. But then I saw the ancient sources from the Gemara and from the Torah that speak about higher states of consciousness and Yeshuv Hadas, calming your mind and becoming present, and Kavanah, having intention.
The spiritual pieces he'd...
So he's trying to make the connection between, like, looking for things in the scriptures to associate that tied to Buddhism. That's what he's doing. Now, we're supposed to meditate upon the word of Elohim, just like he calls us his sheep. Throughout the scripture, we are referred to as sheep, and because of the mannerism of a sheep, it receives the food, right, the natural food, then it sits down and it digests it 4 different times, right, until it's ready to go into the system. And that's how we're supposed to be. So, yes, you can find meditation within Israel,
Of course.
but that is completely different because the Elohim, I would just see the generic term, the God of Israel is different from the God of Buddhism.
That's right.
Because look at this picture right here, right? These deities that these people pray to.
Yep. And when the Bible talks about groves and idols and stuff, this is a perfect example, modern time, Mishpachah. There's nothing different to when back in the day of Moses and Elijah and Jeremiah and Isaiah and all the prophets. There's no difference to what we're seeing right here. This is the exact same thing that they're doing. You know, another thing real quick. Some of these camps, they're pushing this lotus pomegranate flower for the star. And we see the same thing here.
Yeah.
They're all tied to the same Aquarius Eastern ideology.
Once embraced in Buddhism were already embedded in Judaism. It was just that, growing up, he'd never been able to see Judaism in that light before, as a living spiritual path. This is Sarah Yocheved Rigler, a scholar and teacher who writes extensively about Jews and their relationship to Eastern practice.
Jews did not see any path, a spiritual path that led them somewhere in Judaism. And of course, the Eastern path, both Buddhism and Hinduism, offer a path. You know, you're going in a direction toward a goal. But there is a goal in Judaism. The goal is...
And real quick, they don't believe in the Messiah. That's why they're looking for another path. Okay, when they talk about Jews looking for a path in Judaism and all this kind of stuff, Israel doesn't have anything to do with Judaism. That's their religious belief. And that path that they have has nothing to do with the Messiah.
Well, the thing is the use of words, like what it means to me. Like the word Israel, when we say Israel, we know what we're talking about. The Israel of the scriptures, right?
Yes.
When they say Israel, they're thinking about the people,
Israeli.
Israeli people, right? And all the Jewish people around the world, they see themselves as that. So we may be using the same word, but the interpretation of those words is where we have to dig into.
Right.
Okay? So meditation, according to scriptures, is not meditation according to their
them.
belief.
Exactly.
And we can understand why there's a disconnect with these people versus the real Israelites. For some reason, as we look into the powers that be and the people, you see, when we look at the politicians, we got to look behind the belief systems, and not just the politicians, but the movers and shakers that form what we call a world, whether it's politics, academia, religion, because you may see someone religious talking to, praying at the president breakfast or something, and you're thinking, well, that man is believing in the scriptures, not realizing that the form of the Torah that they're looking at is a Torah that has Buddhism in it.
Right.
Okay? We're not seeing that. And then when you see the rabbis and the pastors and all these people getting together and they're working for a certain cause in a certain direction, even though, again, people like the Epstein is associated with them, you're trying to figure out how is it that this guy had contact with all these people, and for some reason, none of those people are arrested, right? There's so much cover-up going on in the world, and things just continue no matter if it's a Democrat, Republican, House of Lords, Parliament, you name it. Things just continue to be because, brethren, below the surface, Satan is the god of this world, operating on so many different levels that all you have to do is take some time and go through, and then you'll start to connect the dots. And believe me, tonight you're going to see some strange things, brethren. Strange things. All right, let's play
To
on.
bond with God.
What felt hidden or inaccessible in Rabbi Cohen's youth only revealed itself when he returned with new eyes. And in this way, his own Judaism was shaped by his years of Buddhist practice.
I think because of my Buddhist mindfulness training, I can really tap into tefillah, to prayer, and to being present, and to doing the mitzvahs in the way that they're meant to be done with kavanah.
So what he's saying is when I got so he knew about the Torah first, but the Torah was a bunch of garbage. So he went and he got the Buddhist teaching. Then that was a key to open the door to the Torah. Where do you find that in the scriptures?
So he went over to Satan's area and took Satan's glasses to open his eyes to read God's words.
It's the same type of spirit that King Saul had, where for some reason him being disobedient in following the word, the Most High said, "I'm done talking. Samuel, don't even cry for him. Don't waste my time, Samuel. Go wipe your eyes somewhere." Right? And then what did King Saul do? He went to a witch of Endor. Now, according to the Bible, King Saul was supposed to be hunting down all the witches. But he was doing that, but his heart wasn't really in it. Because when the lady says, well, wait a minute, you tricked me. You're King Saul. You had a
disguise on.
You outlawed witchcraft, and here you are talking to me about, I want to see Samuel. Brethren, it's the same thing. Going to witchcraft to try to reach the holy man doesn't work. Because when you think you're speaking to the holy man, you're speaking to Satan, who's appearing as an angel of light. Yeah, you got the same Bible in front of you, but the message is already corrupt.
That's right.
Because the voices, they interpret what's going through your mind is making you see the scriptures in a different light. That brings you to a different direction.
You shall not surely die.
Okay? Let's play on.
Consciousness and presence.
Jubus like Rabbi Cohen remind us of something easily overlooked. Judaism wasn't born in the West, but in the Near East. At its core, it's always carried practices of meditation, mysticism, spiritual depth, and in turn, many Jubus have helped reopen Jewish eyes to these ancient traditions, inspiring a wider movement towards mindfulness, intentional living, and a direct personal connection with God. But the exchange wasn't one-sided. While Buddhism left a mark on Judaism, Judaism too helped shape the face of Buddhist practice. In 1990, a meeting took place in Dharamsala, India, The Dalai Lama, the exiled spiritual leader of Tibetan Buddhism, invited a delegation of rabbis to explore how these two ancient traditions might learn from each other. His question was simple. How had the Jewish people survived 2,000 years without a homeland? What unfolded was a dialogue between two ancient paths. The rabbis shared lessons of resilience and continuity, while the Buddhists reflected back insights on meditation and inner life, each tradition illuminating the other. This encounter eventually became the subject of a best-selling book, The Jew in the Lotus, which popularized the term Jubu and brought this unlikely East-West conversation into the mainstream of American Jewish life. But beneath the surface, the encounter revealed something deeper. Jews don't have to leave their faith to find things like meditation, mindfulness, or a living spiritual path. All of these are right there in Judaism.
Jews are innately spiritual, and I think anybody who wants to connect to the spiritual dimension of reality can't leave out God. What Judaism offers is that relationship with a loving God.
For many Jewish seekers, Buddhism opened the door to a path that led not away from, but back to Judaism itself. A tradition they once thought was only about rules and rituals, revealed instead as a living path towards mindfulness, connection, and love of God. And so maybe this Jewish encounter with Buddhism wasn't about abandoning our tradition. Maybe instead, it was a circuitous route to rediscovering it. And that journey, that search for self, for meaning, for truth, that might just be the most Jewish thing of all.
See that? So now we got a new name, the Jubus. Okay, I think that will pass. The Jubus. The Jubus. Okay, you can close that out. Let's move to the next. Jubus. All right. So let's look at some more Jubu stuff. Kosher soothsayers. Are there any such thing as a kosher soothsayer? Question: does soothsayers use the stars? Let's see what the AI has to say.
Yes, soothsayers, who are people claiming to foresee the future, often use various methods, including observing celestial bodies like stars and planets, astrology, to make predictions. Through their practices are considered forms of fortune telling.
Though their practices are considered forms of fortune telling. That's what the AI Google had to say. That yes, soothsayers definitely use the stars. Now I want you to pull up Micah 5 verses 12 and those scriptures that are there. We're going to read some things. So, the Bible spoke to us, the Most High spoke to us through his word and left behind some things, values to keep us set apart. And let's see what he said.
Micah 5 and verse 12, and I will cut off witchcrafts out of thine hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers.
Y'all see that? So we're not supposed to be dealing with soothsayers, right? Let's get Isaiah 2 and 6.
That means once upon a time, Israelites were practicing soothsaying.
So let's see what the Jubus, in a moment we'll look at some video about the Jubus again, right? Isaiah 2 and 6. So remember that's the new word, Jubus. Okay, Jubus, the Jubu people.
Isaiah 2 and verse 6, therefore thou hast forsaken thy people, the house of Jacob, because they be replenished from the east.
You see that? So the Most High is saying, because you are replenished from the peoples or the east. Remember what the Jubu people said? They go to the east. Now, there's an artist who put a song out some years ago, and part of the lyrics was like, he was singing a song, and he said that he looked to the east for answers, and he found misery, right? He looked to the west for salvation, and he found slavery. The east, and I thought about that. I says, well, wait a minute. When you go to the east, in particular, when you go to India, you find trash everywhere. I'm not saying all over India, but for a place that is deeply rooted into philosophies and thinking, right? For some reason, there's so much nastiness and foolishness, dirtiness that's over there. Doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? More people are poor and people feeding rats with their food and all kinds of stuff. It's supposed to be a place that is enlightened, but yet there's so much misery over there.
It's very dark over there.
And the people who are in slavery in the West is going to the East. And the Bible is saying that the Most High says, I've forsaken, therefore you have forsaken your people, the house of Jacob, because they be replenished from the east. Read on.
And that replenish again is talking about when they're taking, instead of going to the Most High to be replenished by the Most High, they're going to these false gods to seek their enlightenment from the east, and are soothsayers like the Philistines. And they please themselves in the children of strangers.
Now, pause for a second. Like the Philistines. So when the Most High removed the different gods from the place, he didn't want us to absorb their technology. Now, you see that picture on the left? Notice that there's a cross on top of his head.
Make it big again. Hold on.
The shape is shaped like the
Serpent.
Juba star, right? The Juba star. It's a demonic looking picture, right? It's a cult. And notice this thing here looks like one of them little paper hats.
Yeah, yep.
That's half a star over there and half a star on the bottom. And notice this little thing here?
Half.
We're going to look at that a little bit later. You see, this is tied into the occult. You see that?
Yep.
That's part of their occultic system. Okay? All right, so let's continue. Let's go to Daniel
Okay. Yeah.
2 and 27 now.
That's the same as above and below stuff that they practice.
That's occult stuff from the Jubu people, right? The Jubu people.
Daniel chapter 2, and we're going to read verses 27. Daniel 2 and verse 27 reads, And Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, The secret which the king hath demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, and the soothsayers show unto the king.
Verse 28.
But there is a Elohim in heaven that revealeth secrets.
That's all we need.
Okay.
So the Bible already said,
They can't do
Mr.
it.
Rabbi, that the secrets belong to Elohim. It cannot be revealed to the wise men, the people of the East, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers. That's not going to happen, Mr. Jubu. Right? It's not going to happen. Only Elohim will reveal what's going to happen in the last days. Let's get Daniel 4 and 7 now.
Daniel chapter 4 and verses 7. Let's see what it says.
And I'm hoping we can get through tonight's broadcast because I got a lot of stuff to present and we're going to go through it. We're going to take our time and we'll break this thing down. Verses 7.
Then came the magicians, the astrologers, Chaldeans, and the soothsayers, and I told the dream before them, but they did not make known unto me the interpretation thereof.
See that? So the king is saying, I told these people, and they couldn't figure this thing out. Okay? Let's get the next one, Daniel 5 and 11. We're just showing you that as far as this whole idea of being entangled with the East is foolishness.
Verse 11, there is a man in thy kingdom, in whom is the spirit of the holy gods.
See how this is an example of the lenses that the Babylonians, the Persians, those people had. So when we say congregation, they say church. When they try to interpret the children of Israel gathering together, they don't have any words in their vocabulary.
So they use their stuff.
So they have to use their words. To them, there's no one God. There are gods. And when you're talking about wisdom, that's associated with the gods that they know. So they're going to use that word, like I said before. The word Israel to me and you is different from other people, right? Righteousness to you and I, light to you and I is different from other people. Right. To them, it's sitting down, boom, breathe. Breathe out.
Close your eyes.
Close your eyes. What do you see?
Meditate.
I see my hand coming to slap you across your head. Man, I remember years ago, I was young, looking for a job, just a little part-time job, you know? And while I was walking down the street with my cousin, there came a guy with these pamphlets, says, hey, you looking for a job? I says, yeah, I'm looking for a job. He says, well, come over here. We can set you up. Just come to this. And he gave me this piece of paperwork. We went into this thing that looks like a church, big old stone, looks like a church, like a big old Catholic type church.
A big old dirty.
Went inside there. You see people sitting down all different places. And then he says, well, we're going to put this video on. So I'm thinking it's orientation. Put this video on.
It was the beginning of the bewitching.
Now, I already know a lot of stuff. I was young, but I wasn't stupid because I've been researching from the time I was really young. Reading. So I'm, okay, put the video on. And he's talking about all kinds of garbage. I'm looking at my cousin. I'm saying, well, this thing is taking so long. And I'm looking around, where's the people that I should get? What is this job about? I'm trying to figure out what this job is all about. He says, well, go upstairs. So I'm going upstairs, and I noticed that they those milk cans or those cans, those vegetable cans, they got string running from one can to another can, and they're talking and listening through the can. I'm like, what the hell is this? They don't use any phones, any electronics in that building at all.
Yeah, natural sound.
Bunch of papers. They use a lot of papers. No type of electronics except for the TV that's playing the videos. When I look into it, guess what it was? Scientology. And I said, this thing makes no sense. I went upstairs, I looked around, I told my cousin, let us get out of this place quickly.
Did you see any carvings? Any carvings of anything in
No,
in
it's
the
just
church?
it's just like a haunted place, right? It's like it's haunted. And you can tell that the people are strongly brainwashed. I'm looking for a job. They're looking to recruit people to go out on the street and give out, pamphlets or whatever it is. No. This is not for me. Just tore that junk out. I missed out on the audit. So I'm just showing you that light for me, job for me is different for how they interpret things, right? This is why we always have to ask the question, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Give us a little bit more meat.
Yep, and that's how to get away with the generic term God. So you say, yeah, I believe in God, and you're like, oh, this is a good person.
Yeah, you believe in God. I believe in God too.
So Daniel is saying here in verse 11, there is a man in thy kingdom in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And in the days of their father, light and understanding.
Of thy father, light and understanding. Go ahead.
And wisdom, like the wisdom of the gods, was found in him, whom the king Nebuchadnezzar, thy father, the king, I say, thy father, made master of the magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers.
Stop. So when you see that, you're saying, oh, so Daniel was the top magician. So I can be a magician too. He was a top astrologer, so I can be an astrologer too. He was the master of the soothsayers, so I can be one too. See, things look differently based upon the mindset of a person. You follow what I'm saying, Mishpachah? So when you read that, it says master of magicians, astrologers, and such like. So when you read that, you're thinking that's a good thing. Daniel was a good guy. He prayed to Elohim, but he was called a magician. So I'm not praying to no false gods. I'm praying to Elohim. So why can't I walk around with the title of a magician?
And this is why you went back to Micah and Isaiah to show in the laws that it is forbidden to do those things. So when you come to Daniel now, there's no misunderstanding that Daniel practiced any of these things. That's through the lenses of these people that they were calling him that.
That's correct. That's what I want us to grasp. Now, let's look at this video. Let's look at this kosher astrology. Let's look at this video. And fair use. You can just actually open it up big.
Okay.
Let's open it up big. There you go. Full screen. Fair use.
Astrology and Judaism seem totally at odds. One is deterministic. Your destiny is preordained. The stars, the planets, these forces shape our personalities and guide our life's choices. And then there's Judaism, which says an all-knowing creator runs the entire universe. But even more than that, you have free will. The stars don't write your destiny. That's all on you. Plus, zodiac signs, birth charts, Mercury in retrograde. This all sounds sort of like paganism. And Judaism? Famously anti-pagan. But what if the two aren't actually at odds at all?
Stop.
What if...
So you see how he bait and switch? He says in Judaism, we look at that thing as paganism, right? But what if they're not fighting each other? Just like the Mormonism says that the devil and Jesus are brothers. That's what they believe, that Jesus is the brother of the devil.
Yeah.
In other words, he reduced the Messiah as an angel.
The Father is Elohim.
Right? That God had two sons. One is Christ and one is the devil.
A matter of fact,
One is dark and one is white.
in Judaism, they don't believe in Satan as being the devil. They call him the adversary. They call him a being who's just there, but they don't consider him as a devil like how the world sees the devil. And I'll present that later. Anyhow, let's continue.
Stay with me. Hidden beneath the warnings, the contradictions, and yes, even the mild pagan undercurrent, there's an ancient Jewish astrology hiding in plain sight. So, do Jews believe in astrology? Astrology is having a moment. Open up TikTok, Instagram. It feels like everyone's analyzing horoscopes and reading birth charts. Now, as an observant Jew, which, yes, my instincts around astrology are probably similar to how I feel about a lot of flashy internet trends. Like, this looks very fun, but it's probably not kosher. For one thing, astrology just feels magical, something you'd lump in with like tarot cards, psychics, offerings to little statues, stuff that Judaism absolutely frowns upon. Plus, someone looking up at the stars and telling you your destiny would seem to go against a core Jewish idea, which is we have free will. The stars don't determine our destiny, we do. So this got me thinking, what does Judaism actually say about astrology? Well, first, famously, there's Maimonides. Now, Maimonides is considered one of the greatest Jewish thinkers of all time. He was born in Spain during the Middle Ages, a time, much like our own, when people were very into astrology. So, what did Maimonides think of it? Well, in the 12th century, a group of rabbis living in Marseille wrote to Maimonides asking him whether astrology should be taken seriously, since a lot of people in their community...
Can I say something about that real quick? So they're looking to a thinker, right? And when you dig deep into that, that's the same thing of philosophy, how the Greeks doing the same thing.
Right.
So why would these so-called rabbis, who's supposed to be men of Elohim, look into a thinker and not what the Torah is saying, what Elohim is saying? Have you ever seen Elisha go to a thinker to ask them about if this is good or bad?
No. And the scripture says that the words must come directly from Elohim's mouth, right? Before you play it, I questioned the Google AI with regards to divination. What does the Bible say about astrology? Right off the bat, even AI got common sense to say the Bible strongly condemns astrology as a forbidden form of divination, sorcery, and idolatry, urging people to seek guidance from God, not the stars, as it puts faith in creation, that's the luminaries, over the creator, with key passages in Deuteronomy 18. Of course, we know it says divination and magic and all that stuff is detestable to Elohim. And Isaiah 47:13 and Leviticus 19:26, forbidden fortune telling and worshiping heavenly bodies, directing believers to trust Elohim or God for direction instead. So we can see that what this guy is presenting is a bunch of hogwash, right? The bathwater from the hogs. Go ahead and play it.
Believed in it. Maimonides pulled no punches. He writes back saying, The determination of one's destiny by the constellation at the time of one's birth are irrational superstitions and devoid of any scientific basis. In short, absolutely not kosher and also totally meaningless. Important context here too. Maimonides wasn't just a rabbi. He was also one of the most respected physicians of his time. So when he calls astrology unscientific, it's not just a theological point. It's coming from someone deeply grounded in rational thinking and the need for scientific evidence. Maimonides goes on to call astrology, quote, a disease of the soul, and tells the rabbis of Marseille that believing in it, or worse, teaching it to others, is not just a mistake, but a moral failing. Okay, case closed, right? Well, like a lot of things in Judaism, you dig a little deeper and there's going to be someone with a different opinion. Enter Abraham ibn Ezra, a rabbi, a philosopher, a poet, who lived at the same time as Maimonides. Ibn Ezra really loved astrology, so much so in fact that he authored 14 books on the subject. In his book Reshit Chachma, or Beginning of Wisdom, Ibn Ezra writes, everything that happens in this world is under the influence of the stars and nothing can exist without them. Wait, nothing can exist without them?
This is a pretty... Without them who? What is it them? The stars, right? Nothing can exist without the stars.
And the stars they're referring to is the fallen angels.
It has to be the fallen angels.
Okay.
Because he's drawing up different types of code. Right? Play on.
Strong endorsement of astrology. Okay, so we have two approaches here. On one hand, there's Maimonides, who says astrology is irrational, immoral, unscientific. And then there's Ibn Ezra, who says the stars reveal core truths about the created universe and our roles in it. So who's right? Well, to find out, I headed to Borough Park, Brooklyn to speak with this man, Yitzhak Aaron Pincus, an observant Jew and the author of the book Kosher Astrology.
Kosher Astrology. Y'all see that?
Just at the kosher. See, we just read Mishpachah.
Everything is kosher now. Everything.
What does the word kosher mean in the chat? What does the word kosher mean? Real quick, what does kosher mean? What is kosher supposed to represent? Clean. Didn't the Most High say no astrology? So how can we have clean astrology when the Most High say it's dirty? Make it make sense.
Well, it doesn't.
Yitzchak has made it his life's work to introduce people to what he believes is the important role astrology plays in Jewish tradition. And so, I had to ask him point blank, is astrology kosher?
It's like when people ask me if is astrology kosher, I like to ask them back, are animals kosher? It's not a yes or no question. There are some animals that
He
are
looks
kosher.
soft, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's very pasty.
And there are some animals that are not. It's the same thing with astrology. There are versions of astrology that are not kosher and that are forbidden in the Torah, and there are versions of astrology that are kosher and are praised in the Torah.
According to Yitzchak, there are three categories of astrological practice. First, there's astral magic, a form of astrology where people worship celestial bodies. Astral magic is, you guessed it, strictly forbidden in Judaism. As Yitzchak puts it,
It was literally idol worship combined with sorcery.
about as off limits as it gets. Next, there's astromancy.
You'll
Now,
see
in
that
this
as off limits as it gets. Now,
Let me go back a little bit right here.
there's a little white speck on top of chicken doo-doo.
Yep.
It's white. The rest of the chicken doo-doo is dark.
Yeah.
Now, is the white speck doo-doo?
It's part of the doodle.
Say it again.
It's part of the
It's
doodle.
still part of the doo-doo, even if it looks clean, white.
Unless this is the kosher part of the doodle.
Go ahead. It's still on the doo-doo. It's still part of the doo-doo. What are you talking about?
This is what you call the wordplay. Like when a person that practices the occult talk about black magic versus white magic, it's all the same nonsense, Mishpachah. It's the two parts of the devil's tongue speaking.
Yitzchak puts it,
It was literally idol worship combined with sorcery.
about as off limits as it gets. Next, there's astromancy. Now, in this sort of practice, your fate is sealed at birth, and no amount of choice or change can rewrite it.
This is the fatalistic version of astrology. That if you were born, let's say, under the planet Mars, you have no choice but to be a murdering bandit.
Stop. So Jacob and Esau are twins. They're both born under the same timeline, the same, whatever star was out that night, whatever alignment was out. So how do you get Jacob, who's destined for the world to come, and Esau, who's going to carry the sword in this world and destroyer of this world, right? How is Jacob and Esau? I mean, were they like two different stars at the same time? It's
Different characters.
The Big Dipper and the Small Dipper.
play on. I'm just trying to make any sense.
If the Torah gives us commandments and mitzvahs that we should do positive things, how can we do that if we have no choice but to kill, but to steal, but to all these negative attributes?
Judaism forbids this since it undermines the notion that we have free will. Now, when Maimonides calls astrology a, quote, disease of the soul, Yitzchak believes he's actually talking about these first two categories.
He was against the astral magic and astromancy. He says it's all nonsense. You don't have to listen to this. And he's 100% correct. That's true. This form of fatalistic astrology is nonsense and not true.
So what is allowed? That's the final category, what Yitzchak calls kosher astrology.
All you just put the word kosher in front
Just
of it.
drop a kosher in front of it, and it's clean.
And it's clean.
The concept that at the moment you're born, God gathers all the energy of the universe, the solar systems, the planets, the sun, the moon, the entire cosmos, and implants these energies within you. But unlike an astro...
You see the nonsense? That God gathers the whole space like it's X-Men or some Marvel show and flush that thing inside of you. Now, we need to do a class, maybe between you and I, on first of all, the history of the comic books, number one.
Yeah.
You will find out that the people who wrote the comic book system, they are Ashkenaz. And a lot of the Kabbalistic ideologies are hidden inside of those things.
Yes.
Okay? All the different things. There's actually a documentary, I think it was on Netflix, that spoke about
the two authors of...
It's probably on Marvel, for Disney Marvel.
I'll look and see.
That they actually do a full documentary on that thing. And brethren, you'd be surprised who's really behind this stuff. There's a lot of information in there, but play on.
Mancy or astral magic. In kosher astrology, these influences don't dictate your choices or your destiny. They're tools, raw potential that you choose to either harness or squander. For example, someone with the planet Mercury in Pisces might...
And those are terms of the occult. Harness. The Most High
That's witchcraft.
The Most High never says harness the Holy Spirit.
Because in witchcraft they believe in harnessing the forces of nature to do good or to do evil. And then they say, well, black magic is the evil part of magic, and white magic is to do good. We're using magic to do good. All right, play on.
have an imaginative way with words, but they also have free will. So whether they write beautiful poetry or dangerous propaganda, that's up to them. In this form of kosher astrology, when you explore your birth chart, you begin to see how much of the world was designed for you. Timing, opportunities, even struggles. All of this was carefully arranged by God to guide you towards your ultimate purpose.
Did you happen to see that in when you read Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy?
None of that
all
stuff.
the way through Matthew,
None
Mark, Luke,
of that
and John?
stuff. No, we don't even see Yeshua saying, drawing things on the ground of the stars and telling the disciples to go do these things, and like the circle prayers and all that stuff. You can't find it. But this, again, is the works of men, the foolishness of men. Play on.
This is kosher astrology, and it turns out it's all over Jewish texts and traditions, if you know where to look. In the Talmud, we learn that each month of the Jewish calendar is linked to a specific astrological sign, and that even the days and the hours are influenced by the planets and stars. Meanwhile, rabbinic sources say even Abraham, the founding father of Judaism, was an astrologer.
That's so incorrect.
He was not the founding
That's so
father
incorrect.
of no Judaism.
Now, there is some things that we all can see as a pattern. Like during the time of Passover, you can see the so-called symbols, as they said, the stars that's supposed to be representing like the ram is there. You can see those things. And so what people tend to do is they look at some of these patterns that the Most High have established, which are basically for signs and seasons, so we can know when to come before him. Has nothing with us looking at these things and looking deeper into it so we can gain some power within ourselves to do good or whatever the case may be. That's a bunch of nonsense. Okay, because then you're going to stop relying on Elohim for direct answers, and you're looking at trees and wood rubbing two sticks together, the sound of bells, boom, and then you're looking within yourself, not to the Most High, but within yourself, talking about I got light inside of me. The Bible says the heart is wicked, evil continuously. Go ahead and play.
Classic rabbinic commentary calls Abraham master of the stars and describes how people would visit him for astrological guidance.
Wait a minute. You see the same thing that we talked about with Daniel? He's a master magician. Now Abraham's a master of the stars.
Yeah.
Then there's Kabbalah, the mystical teachings of Judaism. Kabbalah, as you might expect, is packed with astrology. From the mystical book Sefer Yetzirah, which maps the Hebrew letters to specific planets and zodiac signs, all the way to the Zohar.
And there are Israelites who dive into this thing, and they're teaching their little congregation some of this stuff too. Play on.
Central text of Kabbalah, which explains that the stars are spiritual channels connecting the divine realm with our own physical world.
And none of what he's saying is not wrong, but this is him tapping into the devil's network.
What do you mean, nothing that he's saying?
Meaning all of what he's doing right there is saying that is part of what the devil wants you to
That's
get,
a portal.
go to. That's a portal.
What he's saying is wrong because it is a portal.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
He's going to
It
try
didn't
and
sound
tell
like
you.
that, but
No.
It didn't sound like that.
No. What he's saying is correct for their stuff. It has nothing to do with for Torah. That's what I'm trying to say. So yes, what he's saying is correct for their stuff. Has nothing to do with us.
Okay.
Because they're gonna make up all kind of stuff talking about dealing with the stars and stuff.
Yeah, that's a portal.
We don't mess with that stuff, Mishpachah.
That's a doorway into the darkness. Go ahead.
Finally, there's the Torah itself. In the book of Genesis, Yitzchak points out that on day 4 of creation, when God makes the luminaries, he says, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens to separate day from night, and let them be for signs."
Stop.
What does it mean for?
So now they're going to be looking at this and hijacking that phrase and saying, you see, God ordained the stars for us to look into deeper things. Play on.
Signs for astrological signs. That God created the sun and moon, one of the reasons, for astrological purposes. That's right off in Genesis in the 14th verse.
But you don't even have to go that deep. Take the most famous Jewish expression of all time.
Mazel tov.
In Hebrew, mazel or mazal translates to constellation. When you wish someone mazel tov, what you're actually wishing them is good stars.
Now, when you ask a Jewish person what Mazel Tov means, they'll say good luck, right? But they're not telling you that it's connected to Kabbalah and all this other stuff. Y'all see that?
That's still witchcraft.
And it depends on who you speak to.
Yep.
Go ahead and play.
Or favorable astrological forecast. So where does all this leave us? We can choose to see astrology like Maimonides, as a pseudoscience, something that's at worst, dangerous, and at best, a massive waste of time. Or we can choose to see astrology like Ibn Ezra, to look at the sources and see that for millennia, Jews believed that the celestial bodies were created for us as signs. And that's how I ended up here, sitting on a Zoom call across from Shifra Bader, a writer and astrologer living in Portugal. Now, I've come to Shifra with 2 pieces of information, the exact time I was born and the exact place of my birth. This specific bit of information will allow Shifra to view and analyze my birth chart, also called a natal chart.
So to me, astrology has been like this adventure into people's souls, you know,
See that?
into
A portal into your soul. Go ahead and play.
who are they? What should they be, or what should they become? We're a mix of energies. So we all...
But the Bible already tell you what you're supposed to be doing. You ain't tell about look to the stars to see who you're supposed to be.
have these zodiac signs in us. So everybody is an adventurous person, but where? So this is where our own individual universes become this complex system of what we become or what we create ourselves as we are alive in this moment.
Okay, I'm ready. I have my birth chart. There's just one problem. Shifra won't allow the reading to be recorded.
Not for everybody. To me, the person is sacred. The person is holy. Ultimately, people should feel really heard and seen, and they should feel like I was really with them.
So, I'm sorry, folks. It's just going to be me and Shifra for this one. But don't worry. I'll tell you what happened. Shifra begins with the moment I was born. From here, she weaves together this sort of story. She talks about my specific gifts, my challenges. She talks about my parents, my siblings, my wife, my friends, my career, my son, all the places I've ever lived, could have lived, the place I now call home. And somewhere in the...
That sounds like a familiar spirit.
That's the witch of Endor.
Yes.
middle of all of this, I realize she's not describing me. Not exactly. Instead, she's describing this sort of universe inside me, inside all of us.
She's describing the devil.
That's
with the different demons.
That's right.
The fallen angels, the fallen
right.
stars that's inside of him.
There you have it, Mishpachah.
They're speaking to her, and he's listening, thinking it's about him.
She's talking to Legion.
She told the Legion. Go ahead and play.
Universe that contains infinite possibilities, potential, choices. And then there's this image that sticks with me. There's the universe outside us, the stars, the sun, the moon, the planets, the whole world. And all of it has been perfectly designed to be in dialogue with this other universe, the universe inside us. And so with the birth chart, what you have is two infinite universes in constant conversation with each other. Okay, I know this sounds very unscientific. There's no data, no hard evidence. If I were to approach this rationally, like Maimonides, I'd probably conclude that this was in fact pseudoscience. But maybe that's okay. The conversation with Shifra wasn't scientific, it wasn't rational. It was more like a story or a prayer. It was emotional, personal. Shifra puts it this way.
Like, you don't have to believe in God, you don't have to believe in a higher power. There is something there, whether you call it God, whether you don't believe in it, whether...
Now they reveal themselves. It is anti-Elohim. So how can you be a chosen person of Elohim? You take yourself, you bring your history when you were born to a person like this, and they tell you at the end result, you don't have to believe in God.
These are the people in your neighborhood. And they're going to look at you and say, Shalom. And with a smile, when there are just legions inside of them.
Play on.
Believe in it, it doesn't really matter. I think it's just common sense to know that there is something here that I might not be able to explain. And because I don't know how to explain it, I might not want to believe in it. And that's okay too. You know, you don't have to. The more I connect to something that is larger than me.
Something. She said Elohim. The more I connect to Elohim, she says something.
The Bible call them blind guides. They can't even identify and give you precisely exactly what is it that they're seeing, but they want to tell you it's okay to accept this thing here, even though she can't see it, you can't see it, but you must accept something that you can't see. Now you complain that you can't see God, Elohim, but you accept what this woman is saying, and she still can't see anything. You leave one thing where you say you can't see to go to someone who's even more blind.
The blind lead the blind.
You had one eye, now she's blind in both eyes. Go ahead and play.
As something that I value, like that I also feel is benevolent or good-natured towards me.
Nature.
That I can derive energy and also solace in moments where I do not understand the grand plan. I'm not the beginning and not the end of the wisdom.
And maybe that's the gift of all this. Not that the stars tell you what's going to happen, but that they remind you that you're part of something bigger. That your universe inside is always in conversation with the much larger universe outside.
You can stop it there. We don't want to hear anymore. That's it. That's good enough. This is crazy. Let's move on. Brethren, you see what we're dealing with, right? And we're building to get to a certain point. I want y'all to remember, go back and look at that thing right there, that little thing right there. Remember that? Let's go to our next slide. Does the Christian Zionist know Israeli schools don't use the plus sign in school? Y'all know that?
I didn't know that.
Do y'all know that when you're doing math in Israel, they don't use the plus sign? Let's read.
Yes, Israeli elementary schools often avoid the standard plus sign, using a special Hebrew character like an upside down T instead, because the traditional plus sign looks too much like a Christian cross, a symbol historically associated with persecution of Jews.
Y'all see that? So look at the picture right here. You can see that on the right. They don't use the plus sign. Go back to the previous slide.
Oops. Here.
Right there. You see what they use? Y'all see that?
Yep.
Occult symbols. And it's not even the tav, it's the upside down tav. Brother Pincus says, Jeremiah 10:2, this is what the Yahweh has said, do not go in the way of the nations. Yeah.
That's what we read first.
Yep. We read that before. Have no fear of the signs of heaven, for the nations go in fear of them. So go back. So look at this again. So in Israel, people who want to leave says, hey, I'm a Hebrew. I just woke up. We were asleep. I read Deuteronomy 28, Leviticus 26, and I want to go to Israel. You go to Israel, and this is how they do math. Now, math itself, the way math can also become an occultic art form.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all are familiar with that, aware of that, right? So they don't use the plus sign because it says it represents the Christian cross. That's not even true. Okay? That is not even true. But what they decide to use is an upside down tav. The Aleph Tav, the beginning and the end, they flip that thing.
Yeah.
See how crazy that is? Geometry, yes. Numerology, that's correct. So let's move on. Okay, so we got a few pieces here. Kabbalah runs the world. Now, what is interesting is that there's a lot of Kabbalah being embedded into the world that we live. And you'd be surprised in the different characters that uses it. Like I said, Hollywood uses a lot. And politicians uses it. I mean, when you go to school, the movies, you name it. So it has been pushed out around us constantly. It's like magic. It's almost like magic has been shot onto us on a regular basis that we don't realize what's happening. So this is from the Independent. It's UK paper. It says Kabbalah, the religion beloved by celebrities in the noughties. It's the mystical religion followed by WeWork's Adam and Rebecca Newman. But what does it involve? So let's click on that link, Brother Shay. Let's click on this link. So we're going to look through this. We're not going to read all of it, but we're going to look through this thing right here. And you can see the red string that is tied on the wrist. Keep going down. Okay. All right, let's read a little bit of this.
Okay.
Let's read a few of the paragraphs. Let's read 1, 2, and 3 paragraphs.
So in the early 2000s, it was rare to see celebrities like Madonna, Ashton Kutcher, and Lindsay Lohan without a piece of red string tied around their wrists. The bracelets signal that they followed the mystical religion known as Kabbalah. The religion appeared to reach its cultural peak during the first decade of the 21st century, which is when Rebecca Newman, WeWork's former chief brand and impact officer and wife of WeWork co-founder Adam Newman, joined.
All right, so we don't need to. Let's skip through some of this stuff. Go down some more. Let's see.
That's them.
Okay, what is Kabbalah? Let's read that.
Okay, what is Kabbalah? Kabbalah has long been associated with Judaism. The word itself comes from the Hebrew word meaning received knowledge or tradition.
Now, in the chat, Samuel Barnes says, Tucker Carlson was wearing one of those red strings. Interesting. And he's a Catholic. Now, there is also Catholic Kabbalah. You can look that up too.
Yeah.
There was a competition back in the Age of Enlightenment, so forth, where the Jewish mystics in Kabbalah was competing against the Catholics. They were debating, right? Mm-hmm. And the Catholics had infiltrated and learned Judaism, and they came up with their own Kabbalah system.
Yeah.
And then it's a whole mess.
I was watching a video on that too, about a rabbi who switched over to meet with the monks and the Catholic, and it was talking about the Talmud and a whole bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so did you finish that? Okay,
Yeah.
Let's see. And the Kabbalahs date back to the 12th century. Okay, keep going. Let's see if there's anything else that we want from here. It's the center of ancient wisdom. So whenever you see the term ancient wisdom, it has nothing to do with the Torah.
Yeah.
It's all New Age jargon, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Whenever someone says, I'm getting stuff from the ancient wisdom, that's where they're getting it from, the Kabbalah.
Again, they bring up the 60s, right here, 1962. Rabbi Philip Berg began studying the religion during a trip to Israel. Scroll down. We're just going to run through this real quick. Let's see. We can keep going down. We don't need to bore ourselves with that. Let's see. Again, the names, you can see Madonna, Demi Moore. Okay, let's Monica Lewinsky. That's Clinton people, right? Mm-hmm. Ariana Grande, James Van Der Beek, and Donald Trump's ex-wife, Marla Maples. You got Britney Spears, Mick Jagger, Naomi Campbell, Mary-Kate Olsen, that's the twins, one of the twins, right?
Yeah.
Paris Hilton, Elizabeth Taylor.
And some of these same names that was on the X-Files.
Yeah, scroll down. And this dude, Kutcher, whatever it is, he used to be with Diddy all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Keep going down. See the red string on her hand?
Yeah, right there.
And the red string on her hand over here? Okay. Keep going down. There's a Kabbalah Center in Florida, and guess where is a stronghold? Apart from New York, there's another stronghold of the Jubus in Florida, right? Okay, let's keep going down. Let's see. I think was that it? Okay, let's read what does that red bracelet mean?
Okay. The red string worn around the wrist is the most recognizable sign of the Kabbalah movement. It's often worn on the left wrist and is said to ward off any evil and misfortune that could be caused by the evil eye.
The evil eye.
There was a guy that I worked with some years back, and he was from I forget, someplace in India, and he also had that red thing on his, but instead of his wrist, he wore it on his arm. He wore it right on his arm, tied up there. And I used to ask him, why are you wearing that? He says, my mother put it on me since I was little, and we don't take it off.
Let's scroll down a little bit. That's interesting. So you can see the people. Keep going. Let's see if there's anything else we want before we move on. Keep going. I don't see anything else there. Okay. Yeah, you can pretty much, you can close that out. Okay, you can close it out. A lot of ads in there too. All right, so we're just giving you a little taste that this is among a lot of celebrities. They gave you some of it, but if you dig deeper, you'll see how broad it is. Now, this is interesting. This is the LA Times. This is an article from the 2009. It says that Okay. Brother Shay, scroll down. Let's see what happened here.
Let me scroll. Let me make it smaller.
You got to accept the terms.
Yeah, this is at the time, so you're not going to let me see it.
Yeah. You can hit continue. Okay. Spirituality for kids class draws fire, right? So in the schools, they were pushing, scroll down, Kabbalah in the schools. Oh, come on. They were pushing Kabbalah in the schools. Kester Avenue Elementary, right? Scroll down. Talking about spiritual power. Light is found inside of you. Right here. The exchange is part of spirituality for kids.
The exchange is part of spirituality for kids. A class offered in several Los Angeles public elementary schools during the day or after school, created by a leader of the Los Angeles-based Kabbalah Center International, a spiritual and educational organization. The program is promoted as a non-denominational effort to teach children to make wise choices.
See, so what's wrong with that? I want my children to learn wise choices. So what the teachers do, they go to these places, they learn all these different things, then they find ways to introduce it to the children in a subtle way.
Rename it.
So that the children won't say, Ma, or Dad, Mom, they tied a red string around my hand and we all had this, and because the parents are going to ask, what did you learn today in school? I mean, that's the old school parents. They will ask the children, what did you learn in school? Nowadays, that is a rare thing, right? They just trust that everything is okay. But they will find a way to teach it to the children without causing any alarm bells to go off. So if the children come home, they're going to say something positive. We learn about making wise choices, but they don't tell you all the little details of what the teacher was teaching them.
See, it says they're bringing religion into public schools under the guise of ethics training.
Ethics training. There you go. So you see, right? Then they said it's not religious. The TIMCO noted that school programs run by better known faith-linked organizations such as the YMCA. Right? Okay, so let me see if there's anything else that we want from this. Go down some more.
Around the globe, see?
It's around, yep. Community centers around the globe.
From New York to Florida to Mexico to Mali.
To what? Malawi, excuse me, Malawi. Let's see.
London schools.
Okay, let's read this part. Public school students.
Public school students cannot legally be subject to proselytizing, although religious groups are allowed to sponsor school programming as long as it does not favor one faith.
So you have to water it down a little bit, okay?
Both programs linked to groups outside the mainstream often come under scrutiny. Others that have drawn fire include Study Technology, a learning method created by Church of Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard, and Transcendental Meditation offered by the David Lynch Foundation.
So when you go into Scientology, it's just a bunch of mix mash nonsense of Buddhism and Hinduism and all these different philosophies and so forth. Okay.
So did they give you a red string when you went?
No, I didn't have any red string. I wouldn't allow myself to get any string. Scroll down. Let's see. So anyway, let's go to our next, because what I'm showing here is that they are trying to indoctrinate children. I'll go back here a second. Let's see. Okay, yeah, you can close that out. They're trying to indoctrinate the children in such a way. So this whole Kabbalistic thought, the people are learning it. It's the musical artists are using it in their messages. There's a lot of people behind the scenes that are working. Now check this out. British schools, this is from the Standard. British schools are being infiltrated by Kabbalah movement. Y'all see that? Again, Madonna with the red string bracelet. Okay. and such like. You can scroll down some more. We just want to look at the headlines. And so you can see that this is everywhere. This is not just in America. This is everywhere. You can close it out. You can close it out. Let's go to our next slide. Let's read Exodus chapter 23 and verses 2.
Exodus 23 and verse 2. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil.
Y'all see that? Don't follow the multitude to do what?
Evil.
Evil. So when people are doing evil, you don't follow them. You don't want your children to be following that mindset, because if the Mosai said, we don't deal with Kabbalah, we don't deal with Buddhism, we don't deal with none of this mystic stuff, we only deal with the scriptures, and your children is going in that direction, what are you doing? You're following a multitude to do evil. Because if the Mosai said it's evil, how dare you say, well, this is higher learning, I want my children to be educated. How? How much time do you spend? Because I remember back in the day we had what do you call it, a parent teachers meeting? What do you call it again, Ima? There was a term for it back in the day.
I don't remember.
Where the parents would show up. The conference was on PTA meeting.
PTA. Yeah.
PTA meeting. PTA parents teachers meeting, right?
Yeah.
PTA.
Yeah.
Where the parents would always show up. Boy, when I see Ima and Ella show up, and you don't get the report card, it's given to them first. And when they look at that report card, they see anything that don't look right. You know, when you go home, you're gonna have to dance a little bit. You may have to break dance a little bit and roll and spin, right? The switch will be going home with you after the meeting.
Yeah.
They'll be going home, driving a certain way, then they'll stop. And Ella will go out in the bushes to get a switch.
Uh-oh.
Right? And then he'll pull up home.
Ella's shaking his head.
And then you go to your room, but you really don't want to come out the room. At that point, you forget about dinner. You don't want dinner, right? You don't care about that particular time. You're not hungry. I don't care how much food
You're
or cake
reflecting on
is
your inner self.
how much food or cake is on the table. I'm not hungry. I'm going to stay in the room because tomorrow's school, right? I want to go to sleep early. I'll be studying in my books. Because that's better than dancing that night.
Yeah.
We don't want to dance that night at all, right? That was the after the PTA meeting, right? Let's get John 3 verses 1 to 11.
John 3, 3 John 1 and verse 11. Beloved, follow not that which is evil,
Don't follow that which is evil,
but that which is good.
it's the same thing that we read in Exodus 23 and 2.
He that doeth good is of Elohim, but he that doeth evil hath not seen Elohim.
Y'all see that? So in the old days, the parents used to take a strong interest in their children. Nowadays, that people are too busy trying to get that bag. The bag. That's the new term, Ella. Get the bag, right?
Brinks, back the Brinks struck up.
All right, let's move to our next.
Real quick, it says, he that doeth evil hath not seen Elohim. Remember the lady, the guy in the first video says he couldn't see what the Torah was saying? And then the lady said, she don't know what spirit she can't really see what she's dealing with. That tells you, Mr. Picard, that these people are evil.
Let's get Psalms 38 and 20.
They also that render evil for good are mine adversaries, because I follow the thing that good is.
So when you follow the thing that is good, the Bible says you become an enemy automatically by default.
Right.
By default, you are an enemy against evil. Y'all see that? Let's move on. Sirach 12, verses 1, then 3, and verses 4.
Verse 1 says, when thou wilt do good,
When you're doing good,
know to whom thou doest it, so shalt thou be thanked for thy benefits.
so when you're giving, you got to make sure that the person will be a good custodian, a good steward of the
Receiver.
goodness that you bring. Yeshua talk about it in his parables about the talents that was given. He's taking his money, he's taking his living, his livelihood, and he's giving it to you, invested in you so that you can do something with it, right? And based upon how you use that thing will reflect on your character. It will show your character and reflect back on the Messiah himself, right?
Yeah.
So we have to be careful who we're investing ourselves into. Right? Let's get verses 3 and 4.
There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil.
Y'all see that? So don't tell me that all of a sudden the pig is kosher. If a person is occupied in that type of a death style, those types of meditation, embracing and fusing Eastern philosophies with the Torah, the Bible says those people are evil. And then when you see how the world is being run today, that they say, well, doesn't matter if it's a baby, a grown man can lay with a baby and all kinds of crazy stuff. Yes, it's good for men and boys to be together and all kinds of nonsense. When you start seeing that type of a thing surface, and people are not locked up for that, okay, and somebody else takes the fall, but all of these other billionaires and movers and shakers of the world is getting away with stuff, something is wrong, because they come from that system.
Yeah. There's a spirit, Mishpachah, that's attached to these people where we understand that. But you can tell, if you are a person who is devoted to Torah, when that person is coming to you to have a conversation, you will know automatically that that spirit's attached to them by their mannerisms, by the way they carry themselves, by the words they choose. You will know. Verse 4 says, give to the godly man and help not a sinner. Help not a sinner.
Help not the sinner. So let's move on, Brother Shay. Ephesians 6 and verses 12.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Brethren, we're going to see some very interesting connections. Strange connections. Let's move on to our next slide. This is an article. The link is down below here. We'll pull that link up in a moment. From the Air Force Academy. And it's speaking about a Standard of Excellence Board of Visitors. The U.S. Air Force Academy Board of Visitors is established under Title 10 U.S. Code 9455. The board inquires into the moral, discipline, curriculum, instruction, physical equipment, and so forth and such like. I put this question, TPUSA, many of you all have heard about it. Turning Point USA, excuse me. Is it a place for recruiting Christian Zionists for MIGA? Everybody knows what MIGA is, right?
Yeah.
Make the Jubus great again.
Yep.
Make the Jubus great again. I want you to pull out to the side and click on that link. I want you to see who was nominated or not nominated, officially on that board. Make it big so everyone can see. We're going to look at the membership. Scroll down. Pull it to the side. Pull it over, the whole thing. Okay, there you go. All right, so let's look at appointed by the president. That's the president of the United States. Go through the list. Senator Tommy
H. Tuberville. Dan Clark.
Dan Clark. Who else?
Doug J.
Nikolai. And who else?
Charlie Kirk.
Read it again.
Charlie the Kirk.
Who?
Charlie the Kirk.
Highlight it so everyone can see it. So appointed by the president is Charlie Kirk. Y'all see that? Now keep a note on that. Keep your eyes on that. We're going to something else. We're going to make some connections here. Let's go to the next slide, Brother Shay. All right. This is from Turning Point USA website. I want you to read.
In a series of military academy board changes, President Donald Trump appointed TPUSA founder and CEO Charlie Kirk to the United States Air Force Academy Board of Visitors. On Monday, President Trump appointed Doug Nicolai, Dan Clerk, Tommy Tuberville, and Diane Powell along with Kirk.
Y'all see that? Okay, so now Charlie, before he passed away, posted something on X thanking the president. Let's read.
The American people deserve service academies.
Take your time.
The American people deserve service academies with exactly one focus: recruiting and developing the best cadets.
Stop. So I asked the question, is TPUSA recruiting Zionists for the MAGA movement? Make the Jews great again. He is saying out of his own lips, the American people deserve service academies with exactly one focus: recruiting and developing the best cadets possible. Go ahead. To protect
this country and her liberties. I am honored to have the chance to assist President Trump in executing this mission.
All right, y'all see that? Let's pull us to the side and let's click on the Wikipedia link. Lots of military connections in this whole thing. All right, so Bill Montgomery is an activist and he's a businessman. He co-founded the conservative political organization called what? Turning Point USA with Charlie. Y'all see that?
He was Kirk's mentor.
He was Kirk's mentor. Scroll down. Notice it says he served in the U.S. Air Force. Y'all see that? Let's read a little bit about his career. After retiring, he founded Turning Point USA with Charlie Kirk in 2012. He was on Turning Point's board and its secretary and treasurer until spring of 2019. All right, that's all we need from that. So scroll down, let's see. So anyway, let's close that out, that piece out, and let's go back to the slide. So what we're doing is showing that there's a lot of military connections, right? Click on this right here. Let's pull that up. And this is actually from Turning Point themselves. Charlie Kirk appointed to Air Force Academy Board of Visitors by President Trump. Same thing we just read. So all we're doing is confirming, scroll down, confirming their connection. And you can see it right there, right? Y'all can see that. Scroll down.
I see it.
Okay, so you can see that. Okay? Okay, so let's move this to the side. Hang on 1 second. Keep going down. All right, so let's close that out. Let's go to the next slide.
Okay.
It's going to get more interesting, family. And now let's go to our next slide. Okay, strange connections again. Remember we showed Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica Kirk, with that demonic sign. Y'all remember that, right?
Yeah.
Now, before we click on these links, I want y'all to see this chart. I created this chart to show you some connections. You got Turning Point USA, Team Advisory Council. We're going to click on that, and then it will bring us to these different connections here. So pull that to the side. Don't lose that. Pull it to the side. And let's click on the first link right below, right there. Let's pull that up so everyone can see it. You can pull this to the side some more. No, pull this other one to the side.
Okay, to make it small.
No, this one is fine.
No, I got you. I got
Okay.
I got to come over here first and get it.
Thank you. Not too small. Not too small. Like, there you go. Let's make. I want everyone to see it. Okay. So let's scroll down. So you see Charlie's right here. Scroll down. Now, here's what I want you to do. Click on Advisory Council. And there goes another list of the people who advise. Remember, advise, right? Advising. Scroll down. We're going to go to a guy called Paul Valley, or whatever his name is. Keep going down.
All the way down to the bottom in alphabetical order. So I'm going all the way down to the V.
Right here, this guy. Click on that guy right there. Okay, so remember we said a lot of military people is in this thing, right? Make that a little bit bigger. And then we're going to go a little bit deeper into this guy. So notice that he is a major general, retired. Okay? That's his, and graduated from West Point. Scroll down. He was involved in all over the world, Europe, Japan, Korea, Thailand, you name it. All these different places. Special Operations Command, highlight that. As well as DOD, Anti-Drug Counter-Terrorist Task Force. Y'all see that? Okay? Been involved in Israel, experience where? He has in-country security assistance experience where? What's the first on the list?
Israel.
Jubu, right? Iraq, Kuwait, and so forth, right? Interfacing with senior level military and civilian leadership. Go down. He highlight this. He's also a guest lecturer on the national security, international politics, economic issues, strategic planning, and so forth and such like. He authored a book called Endgame for Victory for Winning the War on Terror, and so forth. Scroll down. All right. That's all we need from that.
Okay.
So now let's click on this link. You can leave that there. Just click on the link. This is Wikipedia. This gives you a little bit more meat on the bone. Now, when you look into this guy, scroll down, you'll see a lot. Stop. Notice what it says. PSYOPs. His command is over the 7th PSYOPs group. Does anybody know what PSYOPs is dealing with?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anybody knows what PSYOPs is dealing with? Psychological warfare. Psychological operations. So this stuff is much deeper than you and I can even imagine. Let's go back. Let's go back and scroll down a little bit. He was on Fox News and all that stuff. We already seen some of this stuff. Keep on. So he was in special forces and so forth. Keep going down. All right. You see the psychological operations. Okay. Keep going down. Stand Up for America and all that good stuff. So his resume is pretty big. Notice he was tied in with Oliver North, right? Keep going down. Okay, stop. So now he's also, scroll back up a little bit, dealing with things of fighting against terrorism and jihad and all that stuff. Right here. Highlight this part right here, this whole part right here, and read it.
Valley is also a supporter of the Jerusalem Summit and an advocate of the organization's proposal to transfer Palestinians to surrounding Arab countries as a solution to the Israeli-Palestine conflict.
Y'all see that? This is the guy on Turning Point who's a general who is tied into psychological warfare, propaganda, brainwashing, connected to Israel, with the whole plan of moving the people out from that place to other Arab countries. And this is where it gets a little bit deeper, because there's a little whisper going on. You know, I don't know if you noticed recently, there are two parts of Somalia. One is Somaliland and one is Somalia. And there was a little conflict between the two. But Israel put their bet or they support behind Somaliland. And the whisper is they want to move the people from Gaza to Somaliland. So when you see that there's war going on in certain places, you got to go behind the scenes to find out what in the world is going on. Y'all follow me? Now, guess what? There's a whole ruckus going on with, what's that state where there was some fraud going on with the daycare stuff? Minnesota.
Yeah.
I'm going to save that. If I have time, I'm going to cover that too, because all of this stuff is connected. All of this stuff is connected, right? So let's scroll down some more. We'll show you how this stuff is connected to Kabbalah. Keep going. Keep going down. Right? Keep going. So we already seen his mindset. No, this right here. QAnon. How many of y'all have heard about this?
Heard of that.
Right? They deal with a lot of conspiracy theories about the deep state. Right? And draining the swamp. And all these kinds of stuff. Not realizing that they are the swamp. Right?
Yep.
These are the people, a group, highlight this part and read it.
A group of military intelligence specialists, over 800 people that advise the president.
Y'all see that, right? You remember what this class is all about, the overlords. Okay, so you have these people that are in military intelligence. Now, we're going to find out where they're getting intelligence from. Let's scroll down. Psyops to mind war. Y'all see that? Mm-hmm. Read this part right here.
Okay, right here's a good one.
Let's read this part.
In 1980, Valley co-authored a paper with then military PSYOP analyst Michael
Aquino,
founder of the Satanist Temple of Set, as his commanding officer in the 7th PSYOP group, titled From PSYOP to Mind War, The Psychological of Victory.
Brethren, let's stop there for a moment, because we're going to dig into this thing a little bit more. We're just scratching the surface, right? But this is important. So you got Charlie Kirk organization that's supposed to be about Christian values to spread throughout the world. And he was murdered because, according to reports, he was turning against Israel. Mm-hmm. He didn't want to serve doing those things anymore. He started to do an investigation to find out where the money is going. Money is moving all over the place. A bunch of shady stuff was happening. He said, I'm out. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, he's out. He really got taken out. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep.
And then when you dig deep into it, the person who helped found that particular organization was a PSYOPs operator, a general. And this general was connected to a guy who was the founder or one of the founders of the Satanist Temple. How can a Christian organization talking about Jesus be connected with a general who co-founded that, working along with a Satanist, brethren?
All in the same sauce.
You see what's happening? Ella, what you saying?
They're all in the same sauce.
All in the same sauce. Scroll down. So when you see certain things happen, all right, so let's leave that. Now, let's go to Michael Aquino. So Michael Aquino is military intelligence. That was the boss of Major Valley, Paul Valley, Valeli, or whatever his name is. Look how Aquino's eyes look.
Mm-hmm.
He got two horns on both eyes.
He made sure to let you know that he's a Satanist. Now let's look into his background. Let's look into. Don't jump ahead.
No, I was trying to record.
Let's look. Scroll down. Keep going.
Look at his title.
Scroll. Let's look at his wife. You see his wife's name? His wife's name is Lilith. Anybody knows what Lilith is all about? Highlight this thing and Google it. No, just the first part, Lilith.
Oh.
Come on, Lilith. Just do click on this right here. Right there. Y'all see that? Lilith, scroll down. Scroll down. Feminine figure, Jewish mythology, it's a demon. Demon. Okay? And according to what Kabbalistic people saying, she was the first wife of Adam. Okay, scroll down. All right, let's close that out. Let's go back to so it's a demon. So this guy was married to a woman who has the name of a demon.
But look at his title.
He's a high priest. Okay? Theistic Satanism. And we're going to come back again. Believe you me, we're going to come back and the chart will get bigger. Scroll down.
You got to shake the tree some more.
He's an American political scientist, military officer, and Satanist. He was the founder of the high priest of the Temple of Set. Now, I got some books here, and let me show you all these books. This one is called Circle of Intrigue. Okay? By Tex Mars. And it covers a lot of interesting things.
I remember that one.
And this is another book. I had one of these in my library. I had to buy a new one because an Israelite stole it from me. Behold the Pale Horse. Written by a Navy intelligence officer, and he kind of wrote down a lot of different things that dealing with Kabbalah, FEMA, you name it. They killed him. And about the secret government, William Cooper. They killed him. And I think he was against Alex Jones. I think Alex Jones tried to copy some of the things that he was doing, and they clashed. Okay? Then they got this book, Towards the New World Order. And if you look at the picture, you'll see Israel is in there too, the flag of the Jubas.
Jubus.
The Jubus. Okay? Let's scroll down, Brother Shay. Scroll down some more. So he was in psychological warfare as a specialist.
It means he's operating on people's lives.
He was in a Green Beret. Part-time at NATO. Scroll down. While off duty on one of these tours, he visited this castle where the SS and Heinrich Himmler had performed satanic rituals there. The Nazis were doing satanic conjuring and stuff. He was interested in Nazism. Okay. Scroll down. Let's keep going. Okay, so hold on right there. He served as an officer at the Presidio of San Francisco. Aquino, 1981, was a reserve attaché at the Defense Intelligence Agency, the DIA. He was a student at the Foreign Service Institute. This guy is up on top level.
High places.
Top secret documents, right? He deal with that. Keep going down. Briefly work at where? Merrill Lynch. And also the New York Stock Exchange. Keep going down. Let's look at the Satanism. Look at him dressed as Satan. Aquino dressed for demonstration satanic ritual 1973. Y'all see that? So in 1969, he joined the Church of Satan led by Anton LaVey. Right? He was appointed Magister Conference of the 4th degree within the church hierarchy. Was the editor of the publication of the Cloven Foot and sat on the governing council of the Nine. His career in Satanism was paused when he went on to work in the military. He met LaVey at a screening of Rosemary's Baby. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
Where LaVey gave him his business card. They grew to be very close. However, conflicts arose over time between the two of them. Okay? When he started selling positions in the Church of Satan for money, Aquino left the group in 1975. His history of the Church of Satan, entitled The Church of Satan, has had several editions and has been an important source for who? Academics. Let's scroll down some more. After he left the Church of Satan, he started a ritual in which he asked Satan for advice on what to do next. According to him, Satan appeared to him in the summer of 1975 and revealed to him what he wanted to be called Set, a name that is his worshippers in ancient Egypt are said to have used. Y'all see that?
Yep.
Scroll down. Let's see if we can get some more from this. So he was part of the occult and hermetic orientation. Aquino's orientation was strongly influenced by the work of British occultist Aleister Crowley, also known as the Beast. Y'all see that? Notice, scroll down. There was a lot of allegations against him for messing around with children. Does that sound familiar with the Epstein?
Yep. Yep.
Does that sound familiar, family, with the Epstein?
Yep.
Scroll down. Daycares, centers. They show at least 58 of 100 children who had attended the daycare center showed physical and mental signs of abuse.
And you wonder why when you put your children in these things, you don't know who's visiting and who's doing what rituals on your children. And your children come home bewitched and have all kinds of issues, Mr. Peacock.
Notice it says that when they launched an investigation, it was closed. I wonder why. If you have a guy so high up into military intelligence with a lot of people, and he's doing all these things, family. This guy is involved in stuff, but Michael Aquino learned from Anton LaVey, because this is Michael Aquino's list, right? So okay, so he and this guy was tied together, but he was in league with this general, and this general is tied to TP USA, brethren.
Yep, Confederate. This is part of the Confederacy.
I'm telling you. Scroll down some more. Let's see if there's anything else that we want to get from here. Okay.
This is the claim of the.
So you can close that out, and then you can go to Anton. You can click on the other link. So look at this right here. So this is Anton LaVey now. Look at this guy. And if you notice the picture over here with him in a circle,
yes, hand.
See this hand sign? Yeah. Look at Erica Kirk's signal or sign. Y'all see it? So Anton LaVey was the author of the Satanic Bible. All right, scroll down. And he made sure that his name had a little satanic
tail on the end.
Tail, right? He was an American writer, musician, and Satanist. Wrote the Satanic Bible, Satanic Witch, Rituals, and so forth and such like. Okay, scroll down. And there's a lot of history behind this guy, so we're not going to spend time on it, but we'll circle back. We'll come back again into some of this stuff. But just scroll down, kind of see if there's anything I need to pick up here. Okay. So this guy was, scroll down some more, keep going. This guy was involved in a whole lot of stuff. Let's see, stop right there. Go back up. Let's see, any names. You had guests like Michael Harner. I'm sure if you click on that, you'll see a bunch of stuff. Keep going down. Let's see what else. Keep going down. Wild West. Wait a minute. LaVey image has been described as that demonic word. I'm not going to get into that. And may have been inspired by an occult theme episode of the television show The Wild West, titled The Night of the Druid's Blood, and starred Don Rickles. hold the cursor over that so everyone can see him. Let me do this first. Okay, so that's okay. Okay, click on Don Rickles. So Don Rickles, look at him there. Some of y'all may remember this guy's face. Scroll down. Let's look at his background a little bit. Scroll down. He has a military career. Scroll down. Some more. Keep going down. Early life. Highlight the jubas. Highlight the jubas so we all can see. Y'all see the jubas? The jubu? Okay, so go back.
Jewish family.
Go back. Jubu. The Jubu peoples. Jubu. Okay? So you can see that when you dig into the stuff, go back up a little bit. You see there's Nietzsche, right, which is dealing with psychology and all kinds of stuff. Ayn Rand, Darwinism, and all this stuff. They're all connected together. Scroll down. Okay, I think that's enough for this. That's enough. Okay.
Ted Kennedy.
Ted Kennedy is there too.
Yeah, Ted is in there too. So a lot of strange things. That's fine.
It's good.
Yeah, that's fine. You can close that out. Okay.
This one open. I'll close this one.
You can close that out. So you can see, family, the very strange connections, and we're gonna dig some more.
The wind just blew the tree a little bit.
Let me see if I want to do this now. Now, you see that whole mess, and I'm going to give you this link, Brother Shea. Let me do this while we're here.
Okay.
Because the other stuff we can cover if we don't have enough time. But I want to, while it is hot, I'm going to give it to you here. Oops, come on. That's not what I want. 1 second, family. Clicking on the wrong stuff. All right, let's get Brother Shea. I'm going to send you this link. Okay, so remember that all of a sudden we have this whole thing that broke out with daycare fraud in Minnesota, right? And based upon research, this guy over here, Nick Shirley, is the guy who supposedly exposed the whole Minnesota child care stuff as a fraudulent stuff, and he gave that stuff over. The stuff became viral. As a matter of fact, hang on 1 second. Read that a little bit.
Okay. The Trump administration is freezing child care funding to the state of Minnesota.
Now, this is important to highlight some things here. So if the Trump administration freezes the child care, right, child care funding, what happens to daycares and stuff like that? Would they be able to function? Some of them probably would. A lot of them probably going to shut down because parents, they're probably going to be closed, right?
Yeah.
Now, why am I highlighting this? Because this is why I keep saying that our families are not built the way that the scriptures set it up. We should have people at home to take care of the little lights.
That's right.
But because we outsource everything, we got to drop our children off at the daycare while we're going to work.
Daycare center. Yeah.
Because of the Christian values that we hold, not the Hebrew values. The Hebrew family is built different from the Christian family.
That's right.
And so the way we set up, it puts us in that situation. So now, if that thing closed, you got to stay home or you got to find another way to take care of your child, right? Anyway, so this guy did a video that went viral, and because of that, the Trump administration now is saying we're gonna send people over there and shut down the whole thing because of what this guy was doing. But there's much more to that because the government knew about this thing a long time ago. Now, why am I bringing this thing up? Okay, why am I bringing this thing up? Because this guy, here is connected to Israel. Right? Because, what are you doing?
Scrolling on.
Okay. Let me see if we can pull something up here. Let me give you this. He's connected to Turning Point USA also. They're all connected, either directly or indirectly. Let me give that to you. Because remember that the Israeli government was giving out monies, you can pull that up, giving out monies to influencers and people who are working on their behalf, and to people who will work on their behalf. Turning Point USA put this piece out. Stay kind and composed journalist Nick Shirley during AmFest Frontline's TPA USA interview. He knows these people. Those people are connected to him.
That's just a couple days ago.
Okay. So now, when they started to pull this whole thing down, they connect that to the Somalian people. I don't know if y'all know this. Let me see if I can bring this up. The Somalian whole thing, and I'm probably not going to go too much into it right now. But when you look into this particular guy, it says, and I'm looking at the AI, I'm just going to read what I have on my screen, because if I send the link to Brother Shea, you're probably going to get something else. It says, Nick Shirley traveled to Israel. YouTuber, self-described independent journalist Nick Shirley traveled to Israel in early 2025 as part of what some sources have called a propaganda tour. During his trip, he conducted man-on-the-street interviews and produced video content related to the political situation in the region. Key details of his travel is interviews. Shirley interviewed various people in Israel, including one man in Tel Aviv, about his thoughts on Donald Trump's vision for Gaza. He also filmed a drive with the last mayor of Gaza, during which the mayor discussed the origins and actions of Hamas. Content focus. His content during this time generally focused on political issues, and he has traveled to several other countries for his work, including France and Brazil. So what he has been doing is, everybody has work to do for Israel, they always take a trip to Israel, receive the instructions, and then they come back to the United States to do certain things. But what they don't tell you is, like, when he went into this whole thing, it all became a Somalian child care type of whole situation. Now, when I did a little search into Google about does Israel have plans to move the Palestinians to Somaliland, it says reports that Israel plans to move Palestinians to Somaliland stem from accusations by Somalia's president, who suggested an agreement for such a relocation was tied to Israel's recent recognition of Somaliland as an independent state. Okay? However, the government of Somaliland has firmly denied these allegations, stating they are false and baseless. But when you look into it, they're saying that there's some little things going on there behind the scenes, Mishpachah. They don't want to say anything just yet. So what I'm trying to do is trying to show you that this guy, all of a sudden you got this thing with daycare stuff, and they already had an investigation since 2020. So why is this thing coming out now? Because you have the Israeli government trying to deal with Gaza to remove the people from there, and they need a place to put them. So you go into Africa, you find out what's going on, where we can do certain things, you side with one side in opposition to the other side,
Yep.
right? But to create this narrative that you got some kind of a Hamas money laundering, whatever it is going on in the United States from the Somalians, what do? You create this whole thing here, start making a bunch of noise over here, and all of a sudden, instantly, this guy got recognition from the president. He got the president's ear. Something don't smell right, family. Something does not smell right.
These people are all connected some way down the line. Because when you dig into Turning Point and him, it shows you that Israeli conflict going on in Somalia with the same thing you mentioned earlier. All you gotta do, Mr. Kai, is just Google it. Just take your time, Google it, look for the right words.
So,
and you'll see everything pointing and connecting right back to these people here.
So what I want you all to do is do your research. Allegedly, this is what's going on, right? But do your research. Let's go to our next slide. Who runs the White House? They say a picture is 1,000 words. So whether it's Democrat, Republican, whoever takes the office, you can see the 7 dwarves always show up. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. There might be 2 more somewhere around. Jubas.
Next one right back here.
Yeah, that's 6. You see the other hand there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there must be a 7 somewhere around there. Okay, they're around somewhere. Okay, let's move on to the next. Who controls America? According to the Business Insider, it says Netanyahu said to a group of Israelis, quote, "America is a thing you can move very easily. Move it in the right direction. They won't get in their way." So this is what the Business Insider said. Let's look at a video clip. I think you should have it.
Yeah.
Pull that up, number 3, and let's see. Towards the end of the video, fair use, you will see what's been said by the
brain.
Yeah, Pinky and the Brain. Pinky the Brain.
לא העיקרי, קודם כל לתת להם מכות, לא רק מכות כל כך מכינות, שהמחיר יהיה כבד מנשוא. כרגע המחיר לא כבד מנשוא. אז התקפה רבת היקף, הרשות הפלסטינית. זה לפחד שהכל מתמוטט.
ואז, רגע, אבל אז השופט מהעולם יגיד מה אתם חושבים. אתה לא מפחד מהעולם, ביבי.
במיוחד היום עם אמריקה, אני יודע מה זה אמריקה.
Especially today, America is something you can easily move to the right direction. Go back a little bit. It's just a little bit. He's saying because they're asking him about the plans and so forth. Aren't you afraid of the world, Bibi? Especially today with America, I know what America is. You see, he knows. America is something that can easily be moved to the right directions. Go ahead. And the child says, they say they're for us, but it's like, he says, they won't get in our way. They won't get in our way. Now, what does he mean by that? Play on. On the other hand, if we do something, then they stop. So let's say they say something. So they said it. 80% of the Americans support us. It's absurd. Stop. We have that kind of support, and we say what we will do with the. Look. The administration, that's Clinton, was extremely pro-Palestinian. I wasn't afraid to maneuver there. I was not afraid to clash with Clinton. I was not afraid to clash with the United Nations. Now, remember Clinton had been seen in those files with Epstein, right? Mm-hmm. And this goes to show how things operate in the world. So we don't know, allegedly, there's some things that happen behind the scenes with who knows what, young people or whatever the case, what they're saying. And so this is how they say they can bribe or blackmail and use or get their hands in government to control certain things. Play on. Stop. I was paying the price anyway. I prefer to receive the value for the price. All right, that's all we need from there. You can close that out. Yeah, D. White, Lewinsky happened to Clinton, right? And that whole thing swayed. Every time you look at policy, a lot of us don't really pay much attention to what's happening with policy. Why things happen the way it does, right? Okay, so let's go to our next slide. Follow the money. So many of y'all probably have seen this, but I wanted to bring it out again. When you look at the dollar bill, right above the head, you notice to see that Kabbalistic star, the Jubu star, right to the top. Y'all see that? And that kind of shows how things play out here in America. Who's really running things behind the scenes? So you have a 13 Masonic stars. When you count the number of those Masonic 5-pointed stars, it forms one huge 6-pointed star. Right?
That's right.
Okay, so let's move on. Netanyahu's Dangerous Power Over Trump by Sarah Yerkes, published June 24th of 2025. Now, these are some quotes from this news piece. It says, what Bibi wants, Bibi gets. Quote, although Trump may believe he is, although Trump may believe he is pulling the strings, he has clearly and repeatedly allowed himself to be manipulated by Netanyahu, especially during his first term. Another quote from this article says, Trump taking Netanyahu's belief over his own intelligence community findings is a clear sign of the prime minister's sway over the president. Right? This is from the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. Let's go to our next article.
These things are all there for us to see, Mr. Picard.
I don't know if y'all remember this guy. His name was Alexander Haig. Does anybody remember him?
Yes, I know.
Alexander Haig. He has some eye-opening words. He was the former advisor to Richard Nixon. Thank you so much. He was the Supreme Commander of NATO in Europe. And then he was the Secretary of State under Ronnie Reagan, the actor, right? He gives the political reasons for the United States unconditional support for who? Israel. Let's read.
Israel is the largest U.S. aircraft carrier.
You notice what he says? The Israeli government is the largest United States aircraft carrier. Go ahead.
Which does not require American soldiers on board. Cannot be sunk.
So Israel cannot be sunk.
That comes to mind. I forgot the name of the guy. There was a military guy that was that if you go on YouTube, Mishpachar, there's a guy that went out and spoke about how I forget the name of the boat that happened, but Israeli sank a U.S. carrier.
Yes, Liberty, U.S. Liberty.
Yes. And it ties back when you're looking, it ties back with that.
See, the American government was monitoring what was going on between Israel and the Arabs and different places over there, right? And when the Israeli government saw what was happening, they sent some fighter jet. And even though America had the flags flying and the call signs and everything, all the communication was intact. And the ship, U.S. Liberty, was a intelligence gathering ship.
Intel, yeah.
And they bombed that ship and murdered a lot of people. They murdered a lot of men. And to this day, the men have been publicly speaking out against that. And Israel was never held accountable for what they did. Okay? So let's
cannot be sunk and is deployed in a most critical region between Europe, Asia, Africa, and between the Mediterranean, Red Sea, Indian Ocean, Pacific, Persian Gulf, sparing the U.S. the need to manufacture, deploy, and maintain a few more rail aircraft carriers and additional ground divisions, which would cost the U.S. taxpayer some $15 billion annually.
Now, this is kind of funny because they're saying we prefer to have Israel operate in the center of all of these different places so that Israel can do the work for us because it will save us $15 billion. But isn't Israel getting billions of dollars?
Yeah, they're still getting the money from them still.
Excuse me.
Every year they're getting support.
Isn't Israel getting billions of dollars? So the Secretary of State and a commander, one of the high-ups, is confessing the powers that really operate behind the scenes, right? Y'all see that?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next. This is interesting. Trump triumphant, right? So, can you read that for us, please?
Trump triumphant. Triumphal arches are one of the most influential and distinctive types of ancient Roman architecture.
So remember, the president is breaking part of the White House area down, and he's rebuilding, and he has this huge renovation and a huge project. He wants to put up an Arc de Trump, okay? For the 250th anniversary of America. That's going to be this year.
Yes.
Okay? But the arch itself is Roman. It's a Roman design. It was invented by the Romans. It's Esau stuff, right? Now, what does that have to do with America? They're all connected. All of these people, all the things that we're looking at tonight, they're all connected in one big soup. You got the carrots in there, the potatoes, might have chicken or beef,
some dumplings,
or a combination, some dumplings, little spices, whatever.
Yeah.
But brethren, it's one soup. Okay, let's read on.
Effectively invented by the Romans, and using their skill in making arches and vaults, the Roman triumphal arch was used to commemorate victorious generals or significant public events such as the founding of new colonies, the construction of a road or bridge, the death of a member of the imperial family, or the accession of a new emperor.
All right, y'all see that. So this is interesting that this has been designed or built, and a few things that come to mind. The founding of new colonies. And I'm wondering, because Trump is pushing the what's that guy? Teddy Roosevelt doctrine, or the Monroe Doctrine. And under that, there were, like, the Philippines came into play. I think Hawaii. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember. Hawaii, Philippines, and they try to get Cuba.
There's certain lands that they're trying to get.
They were trying to get certain lands. But notice it says that this is also connected to the death of a member. I don't know if he's planning on dying anytime soon and he wants to get stuff out, right? Or the ascension of a new emperor. So we got to look to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, is
he going to die? Because they've been looking at his hand and saying that there's some strange, his feet are swelling up.
This man is sick.
His hands got these blotches all the time, right? He's been seeing a doctor on a regular basis, so that they don't know if he's going to die. He's trying to put up his memorial now before he dies.
This is how it typically
Or are we going to see the government transition to a new emperor? Now, why is this important? Because Edelson, I think her name is Edelson. Let me see if we can find a link for that. Edelson. Say something, Brother Shea.
Yes, Mr. Picard. I mean, just by looking at everything that we're connecting today, tonight, you can see how all of the puzzle pieces are fitting together. It takes a lot of work just to put all this together, but it is so much information that you connect from one point to the next. It's like going into a murder room. This is what detectives call it on a homicide floor. You go there and you have the murder room where they have the board set up.
Murder room.
You'll see the victims and you'll see all the little things that the sticky notes and the lines drawn and the X out and the pictures. This is what this basically is. This is why they're covering up the Epstein files, the turning point, the stuff with Russia that's going on, the whole AI and technology stuff that's coming out.
Yep.
Everything, Mishpachah, is connected and is pointing to the one world system that we're seeing. So all we're doing is showing you what we're finding out. And I mean, we already know that these people, Mishpachah, are not who they say they are. But we're just showing you what we're finding out.
The last one, click on that, because as I mentioned about the emperor, we don't know what's going on, but we can see a lot of glimpses, right? Trump says billionaire Miriam Adelson offered him, quote, another $250 million to run for third term. Y'all see that?
Why 250 here and 250 here?
Scroll down a little bit. 250 million, and you got the 250th anniversary, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of these people, Allison said she spoke with criminal defense lawyer Alan Dershowitz. And Alan Dershowitz were tied up with the Epstein and family. It goes on, and it's a cesspool. Oh, yeah. Okay. On and on and on. You know, they've been talking, Trump mentioned it a few times. People have talked about having him another 4 years and whatnot. And there was a movie called Civil War. Mm-hmm. And in that movie, there was a president who the troops were, the nation was divided. And the troops were trying to regain the White House because the president was in there for 3 terms. They didn't give you the whole story, but they give you a glimpse that there was a civil war. If you notice, the news has been talking about civil war for the longest time. Then they put out a movie. Brethren, we're living in some very serious times. Let's go back to the slides. We're going to try not to be long. I'm going to try to wrap it up, okay? And do I have the link for this? Is that a link right there? Did I send that to you too? I didn't? Okay, so let me see something here. I don't know if I have the link for that one.
You want to continue from here then?
We can probably continue from there.
So we won't rush it.
But I'd like you to do something else. Jump down to this one right here. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. I'll take a couple more slides and then we'll wrap it up. We'll come back to the other stuff. Okay? We don't want to lose the Hebrews, because I'm not doing a PDD class tonight. And, you know, this is kind of boring for some folks, but. All right, so agents of false flag operations, mechanisms of control. A lot of times when certain things happen, like the 9/11, what's his name, attack Kuwait, and he's killing babies and all kinds of stuff, and he got weapons of mass destruction, all kinds of stuff.
Yes,
Bin Laden, you name it.
Saddam,
a whole bunch of things, and Gaddafi is doing this and that, and all kinds of stuff. And when you look into it, Chavez was doing stuff, and the list goes on.
And Castro.
And in Egypt, there's all kinds of problems, and next thing you know, there's an overthrow of government, and you're trying to figure out what happened. In South America, there was a lot of the Sandinistas and the whole lot of different groups, guerrilla groups in Central and South America fighting communism and whatnot. You had the Jesuits in there doing their business. You had Israeli arms that was going there. You had the Rockefellers. The list goes on and on and on. You had the Rockefellers connected to the oil, connected to the missionary services, all the church missionaries programs that you hear on the radio, boys and girls for, all kinds of stuff. They're all connected. They're all connected. So when you listen to all these Bible programs on Sunday morning or whatever, Saturday or whatever it is on the weekends,
you're getting conditioned to be a Zionist.
you're thinking, okay, this is a beautiful thing. But when you go behind the scenes, you find out that the people, that was all propaganda using Christianity for power, for control. So Haaretz is a Jewish newspaper, and they put out a piece called New Documentary Asks, Was Israel Behind the 1951 Baghdad Synagogue Bombing? And he was very interested. Let's see what the AI had to say about this.
Historical accounts and recent research suggest that Zionist operatives were involved in a series of bombings against Jewish targets in Baghdad, Iraq in the early 1950s, which aimed to accelerate Jewish immigrations to Israel. Israel officially denies involvement in these incidents.
Y'all see that? They officially deny. We had nothing to do with it. Okay? So there's a lot of information that they were bombing their own people, well, so-called own people, because we had Israelites in Baghdad or Iraq, but they were bombing over there to force the people to immigrate to Israel. They're trying to create problems in the earth so that people can come back to Israel. Is that how the Messiah said he's going to return the people by terrorist acts, terrorizing the people? I'm going to terrorize you because you don't want to come back to Israel. Let's go to the next slide and then we're going to close. Let's read.
The Baghdad bombings, 1950 to 1951. A series of 5 bombs targeted Jewish homes, businesses, and synagogues in Baghdad. Included the Masoud Shem Tov Synagogue.
Shem Tov Synagogue.
During a period of mounting hostility towards the Jewish community following the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. The climate of fear created by these attacks and rising Arab nationalism led over 80,000 Iraqi Jews to renounce their citizenship and immigrate to Israel in just a few months.
Let's stop for a moment. So you have people who identify as being Hebrew living comfortable right in Iraq. No problems, getting along good with the Arab neighbors. Islam is not bothering them. They're not bothering Islam. They're respected. They've been there for a long time. So here come these Ashkenazim people. They bomb homes, businesses, to try to make it look like the Arabs, during the time of the Arab fight, they're harassing the Arabs. Now they want to make it look like if the Arabs hate Jews all over the world. You follow what's going on? So when they do these things, it makes it look like there's some worldwide anti-Semitic type thing going on. We're going to come back again to it.
I won't be surprised, Mishpachah, if that's takes from the same playbook to October 10th or whatever thing that just happened, where they pulled the soldiers away and allowed so-called Hamas to come in.
Yes.
Was that really Hamas that came in?
Yes. I mean, like I said before, remember that they said Hamas was using these paragliders.
Yeah, to come in.
And I'm looking at Gaza Strip. I'm like, well, where are they training for this thing? Maybe they train somewhere else. And if you're building these things, with the amount of cameras everywhere, and you have operatives on the ground, right? You know every single person that's there, the child that is born, where they are, all these different things. You know about these things. You got people posing as Palestinians or Palestinians working for the Israeli government, getting good pay, whatever the case, in the tunnels, and they know everything. And all of a sudden, well, we didn't know that these paragliders were going to come over and break through the fence and kill these settlers and all that stuff. Come on now. Come on now. Okay, nobody's smoking a hookah. Let's read the goal.
The goal of these false flag operations was allegedly to sow panic among the Jewish community, making them feel unsafe in Iraq and thus more willing to move to Israel, which needed manpower at the time.
See? So, brethren, let me read some of your thoughts here, brother. Let's see. Gerald says, honestly, I don't know what to believe anymore. I really don't believe nothing these politicians and actors say. Excuse me. Everything they say or do is a lie and is done to manipulate and confuse you.
Never trust your enemy.
Everything they do is done very meticulously and strategically. They all work together, and their job is to leave us in confusion and fear. May the Most High will be done, though. However these dominoes fall, I'm ready. Trying to stay proactive and prayed up daily and keep your full armor of salvation on at all times. Stay ready to keep from having to get ready. May the Most High be with us all. Good speech, good words, brother. And yeah, Brother Pincus. Biden said something about Israel in his early days. Shalom to you, Brother Pincus. And yeah, a lot of things, as you look into it, nothing in politics happened by accident.
Nope, that's what they say.
If it happens, it was designed that way.
Planned that way, yep.
So I hope everybody was able to learn some things. Go back to this slide right here, this one. And I want you all to see that this thing right here is just not even the tip of the iceberg. When you start to shake this tree, you realize that there's so many military things going on and connections and people who are involved in Satanism and children exploitation and money laundering and using monies to finance wars and selling drugs to finance wars. And there's a certain group of people, the Jubus, along with a lot of minions that are working behind the scenes. Some of them are sacrificial lambs. Right? Meaning that they do the job and then like the Epstein, then we'll sacrifice you, we'll get rid of you. Right? Mm-hmm. And we'll pin the blame on you and kind of hush the thing up. And then move on to the next stage.
I believe that's all that whole Diddy thing was a distraction from all of this. That's all it was.
And Diddy was tied into the whole thing too. Mm-hmm. Because the music industry is tied to these same people. The music industry is designed for many reasons, right? Destroy the real Israelites with the carnage, broken homes, fighting each other, the drugs, making our women, promoting our women to wear weave, to wear the claws, to look like aliens. Look at, what's her name? Nicki Minaj. Was her name Mirage?
Mirage, yeah.
No, Minaj. Nicki
Minaj.
Yeah. Whatever her name is, right?
Mirage.
And all of a sudden, she is with the TP USA, and she's dropping some kind of coded stuff about assassin.
Not coincidental.
Brethren, I want you all to have a wonderful rest of the night. We'll come back. We'll come back with some more things that I think is important for us to look at. When we are studying the Word of the Most High and we're growing in Torah, one of the things our Messiah said to us is watch and pray. Mm-hmm. And pray that you escape the things that will befall the earth. Wordy. Sometimes we want to do certain things in this life because we want to have a better life for ourselves. Mm-hmm. But when you dig into the background of what you call better life, you realize there's too much stuff attached to it. Yeshua said to the devil said to Yeshua, I should say, all these things I'll give you if you bow down and worship me. That means that you got to do something to get this stuff right here.
Yep.
And Yeshua wouldn't do it. right? The question is, what are you willing to do for the sake of the kingdom? Let's go back. Let's close out right all the way back to the front. So I hope that all of us have learned something tonight. I try to put as much as possible to make the connections, and I hope and pray that we all stay prayed up, as our brother said earlier. And I salute the prayer team for keeping the lights burning. Look forward to seeing you all on Shabbat. And just want to say thank you for staying on for tonight. And thank you so much for all the support that you've given either recently or over the years. I really appreciate all of those things. So,
yeah, Kiva put something in the chat for y'all to check out. So when you guys get a chance, check it out.
In the chat? Okay.
Yeah.
So y'all can check it out, whatever Kiva have in the chat. He says, I found something. So with that said, Elder's going to close out with prayer. Elder, are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you in position?
Yeah, first of all, for prayer, I want to thank
The microphone, Elder. Elder, the microphone.
Yeah. First of all, I want to thank the teacher very much for that special topic tonight. You know, this kind of thing causing me to be more serious, because you're living in the end time, and all these things that these people plan for many years back is a planning thing coming up. One president, one government to the other, and that's where we are today. So, family, let us stay together, let us pray, and keep the fire burning.
Hallelujah.
All praises to the Most High.
All praises to our King.
Let us pray. Father in heaven, we do thank you again tonight for that special class. We pray that thou may bless our teachers, Brother Yona as he teach, Brother O'Shea read. We pray that we bless them and help us all of us, to have a wonderful night rest tonight, that we will do our best to live for you, because we ask it all through your Son Yeshua, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Let
The words of our mouth, meditation of our hearts, be acceptable in your sight. Oh, Yah, our strength.
And our Redeemer.
Love you all. Stay strong, stay sharp. Until next time, we say shalom.
Shalom.
Tsunami and left sickness, danger folly. Quick to transgress, playing with fire continually. The retinal scans as them advance for the technology. The way they stop Holy One knows the Almighty. Some serial killers company woman laboratory. Eugenics project side effect, torment the baby. Medicinal bag of chips with big greedy dummy. Marionette of the money, the power of hungry. No remorse and no way out and no sympathy. Continue to run your